survives. Yes, family, large up yourself, pick up yourself. Your host, Selah, Shalom, chiming in on the ones and twos. You know how we do. You chiming in. Shout out to the family chiming in. It survives. It survives. Yes, family. Woo. Yes. Yes, family. Selah Shalom TV, according to the text, as it is written. See, a lot of people have a hard time sticking to the text, you feel me? When we say as it is written, meaning you can't make up what the fuck you want to make up. Your Bible say, lean not on your own understanding, nor private interpretation. And that's what you have all throughout Scripture. That's what you have all throughout the community. Muffin over here running back and forth playing with herself. That's what you have in the community, everybody leaning on their own understanding. I had a young boy tell me that Osiris was Abraham and Ishmael. Yeah, man, this shit don't get no worse than that. Y'all better stop following people, man, and start doing y'all own research, man. Have that research make sense when y'all do the research. Now, Abraham is Osiris now? Oh, man, I ain't even entertaining that one. Me not even entertaining that one, family. You know, I'm gonna have to twist up them herbs, yeah? Cause it's a vibes. Fam talking about, well, who chiming in? Oh, y'all done chimed in? I ain't peep gang. Elijah, I see you. Jibril, of course, I see you. Deshaun, it survives. Yahweh, my brother. Listen, bedroom. On the lookout. Peace, family. I see you, sister. We got the sisters logged in. Shout out to Cosmon Cal for presenting a great lecture last night on women in the kingdom of the Creator. See that? See, that's the beauty about the Oahspe. The Oahspe showed you the validity and the importance of the women in creation. While in your Bible, in your King James Bible, it states that Eve was the cause of sin. A lot of people say that the woman was the one who brought sin into the world because she disobeyed and was seduced by the serpent. Most Christians believe that, most Israelites believe that, most Muslims believe that, and we're talking about millions of people having an outlook on women like that. And then you got Paul saying that women are supposed to be silent in the church. And they ain't supposed to say nothing. And then you got the man is the head of the woman and Christ is the head of man. So you got three concepts about women that puts them beneath the bus. You done brought sin into the world. You can't talk. You're supposed to be silent and obey your master, your husband. So that's why a lot of Christians, Israelites, they have this ego and pride about dictatorship because their doctrine is based off dictation. That's why they're so stuck on pointing the finger, because they want to be the leaders. They want to be the one leading the pack. But then, like how eloquently Cosmon broke down yesterday, you seen the importance of the female in the kingdom. Damn, they're more important than man. So the Bible will never, ever give you relevance like the Oahspe do concerning the woman, the female. I remember some years ago, an Israelite asked me, he says, Selah, he said, are there women angels? I was like, damn, my nigga, like, you serious? He was dead ass serious. I said, nigga, what about your mother, your grandmother, your parents? You think they just gonna dissipate into nothingness after they die? You think heaven is just full of men angels and that's it? So that shows you how far beyond, or I should say how far gone the mentality of our people are when dealing with these false doctrines, Joe. You got women that gave you birth, but then you're gonna ask, are there women angels? I'm like, damn. That's some cold-blooded shit right there. So yeah, yo. That's why a lot of Israelites is pissed at the Oahspe, because the outlook for the women is not the outlook as it is in the Bible. You dig? Zechariah Yahu Yashra Allah, I see you, King, Lion of Yah, I see you. Peace to the fam. I see the fam. Ken Folk. What up, Ken Folk? I see you. You know what I mean? Your boy Selah Shalom just decided to go live. They put the battery in my back. But as I proved without a shadow of a doubt in the last video that God is an angel. And I had a couple people on Facebook try to rebuttal it, but they couldn't rebuttal it. Because if they try to say, well, no, God is not an angel, then we're going to say he's a man. Aren't angels men? Men are angels, and angels are men. So for them to say that God is not an angel, but he's still a man, that contradicts their own goddamn argument. They just lost. See, a lot of these Bible followers, they really lost. They understand what they know, what's before them, but they have no understanding about the spiritual progression, because the Bible doesn't explain the spiritual progression. It only gives you laws, statutes, and commandments to live on earth. Basic instructions. These are basic instructions. It's not even, we can't even put Bible to Bible. It's basic instructions. We can't even put before leaving earth, because these basic instructions is not preparing you to leave earth. It's preparing you to govern yourselves while you're alive on earth. But the before leaving earth part, that determines your grade. The Bible don't talk about the grades, that you are spiritually graded from 1 to 99, no different than you are graded in school. So really and truly, the people are walking around are lost as far as understanding creation, its progression, and your purpose. Your purpose in creation, people are lost. Oahspe gave his purpose. What do I see when Oahspe gave his purpose? If you was to ask anybody, what's the purpose of the Bible? You ask a Christian that, they're going to say, well, to let Jesus Christ be your Lord and Savior. If you ask an Israelite what's the purpose of the Bible, they'll be like, the Bible is for the children of Israel. You know what I mean? You got these different concepts of what the purpose of the Bible is, but none of them is telling you about Ethereal. None of them is telling you that you're going to be graduating. All of them is telling you something other than what you're supposed to know. Bronze, I see you. Peace to the fam. Peace to the God. Peace to the gods. Taz, I see you. What's going on, King? Tuning in, no doubt, no doubt. Kindred, I see you. I see you. Set apart in here? Where's she at? I ain't see set apart. Oh, there she go. I see you. Set apart living. Peace to everybody chiming in, yo. Jehovah has given us purpose, exactly. The Creator gave us a purpose. You know what I mean? Our purpose is what? To rise into the Ethereal heavens. Now that's the purpose for us now. When we get there, we got other works to do, but hell, let's get there first and then we worry about what other work. Just like college. Graduate, determine what college you want to go to, and then when you get to the college, we'll determine the curriculum. How about that? Kenneth Dickinson, I see you. What's good, family? What is goody? So like I say, the scope is Ethereal and always will be Ethereal. And everyone born in the world has a birthright to Ethereal. Everyone born into the world. So the whole idea that this people are accursed and this people can't be chosen or this people can't this and that, all that is out the window once you understand that the service done unto others in righteousness is what determines your resurrection. It's fair game. It's fair game, yo. If the service done unto others is determining your grade, it's fair game, meaning everybody has the equal opportunity to rise. Just like school. Once you're given a subject, it's fair game. I don't care if you're a Chinese student, an Indian student, an African student, or a white student. When y'all get that subject matter, it's fair game. Whoever come out on top will do the best, showing their mental sharpness to see if they can study and pass the grade with the high passing score. That determines. So if the Chinese man make a grade 95 and the black man make a grade 75, well, that's what it is. The black man ain't chosen no more. Whoever got the highest grade is the chosen. That's how that works. Shalom to everybody. Everybody. And what's good, Ann? I see you. I see you. Peace to the fam chiming in. Like we was talking earlier, Cappy had them colors. Talking about the primary colors. You know what I mean? The primary colors Book of Satantes, chapter 19, verse 17, it says, quickly now came the three great rays, foremost projecting, and these were the orders of marshals from the Ajayan fields of Oahspe and Hanshi. The red light represents Aja, the blue light represents Oe, and the yellow Hanshi. And there were of marshals 1,000,000, and they cast the curtains around about to cover all of Horeb, the great kingdom. So, you know, when somebody asked earlier, what about the colors, bands? There you go, sis. I think it was Tekiva. Boom. You know what I mean? And then it got other meanings, of course, of the light. But the real science to that light, as far as vibrational frequency goes, you know, if we look at the, where I got that picture at? That's the real science of those colors. The real science of those colors is electromagnetic spectrum, which is vibrational frequency, which is vortexia. So when it said that the color, what was the first color? It says the red light represents Aja. So the red light, where do you see the red light on the pH? I'm on the electromagnetic spectrum. You see the red light on the far end of the long wave. So 700, that range of vibrational frequency, that wavelength, would be the red light. And then the next light was the blue light. Now if you look at the blue colors, the blue range fall within, let's say, 450 nanometers. The vibrational frequency of blue is very fast. It has short wavelengths. And then the third light was the yellow. And if you see that the yellow is about 595, 590, 580, that's where the yellows sit. So those are the primary colors the Oahspe talking about. The yellow, 700, 595 radi, and 550 as far as the nanometer range as these vibrational frequencies, visible light. And the same rules apply with the pH scale. You got the pH scale with the same color range, showing you that all things are connected. See that? So red on the pH scale is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Acidity, positive charge. Yellow is 6. And blue is 10, 11, 12. High vibrational frequencies. See that? So the same rules apply even with the electromagnetic spectrum. Yes, family. Yup. I think, let me can't even see it. It's good, fam. What you saying? I think being keep popping up. I think being chosen doesn't mean easy road for you. It means you were chosen to lift everyone else up. Your workload is increases. Exactly. They think being chosen is a light work or it's a fun, feel-good thing. No. That's a heavy burden. Peace, family. I'm listening and working. All right, sis. Don't get in trouble now. Peace to the fam. Yara, I see you. Peace, King. Yo, you stupid. Looking at the booty of God. You know what? The backside of God, Joe. They say God was a woman. So I guess when... Yo, that's crazy. But the crazy thing is that, though, when we was building yesterday and we was pulling out the information on the Strong's Concordance about God and El, it said that El was a deity. I wonder if any of them cats ever considered that, yo. Considered that El is a deity. You dig? The chakras too, kinfolk. Exactly. All the color spectrum is all connected. One and the same thing. One and the same thing. Yup. Yup. See, the Bible don't talk about science. They just give you religion, the worship of the God, the worship of the only begotten one, Osiris, and things of that nature. Like, we was touching on the, where's that? The Egyptian gods. The El, see, this is the god El, and this is the thing. You have one Israelite saying, "Oh, we worship the true God, the true Elohim." Nigga, you still worshiping the angel, whether if he is the true Elohim or he's the false Elohim. Even in the Oahspe, true God is true God, but he not the creator. He not the Most High. So just because you emphasize yourself saying true, I represent the true, that don't mean it's right and exact. That don't mean it's right and exact. You dig? Book of Jehovah, chapter 34, verse 3. Osiris made his godhead to consist of 3 persons. First, himself as the fountain of the universe, whose name was unspeakable. Second, let's pull him up, Baal. Second was Baal, his only begotten son, into whose keeping he had assigned the earth and all mortals thereon. See that? That's what he had Baal doing before Baal broke away. Baal was considered the only begotten son of Osiris. That's why Baal got the same headpiece as Osiris, because they was once working together. And that's the evidence and proof of their working together. Now, where Asheray at? Did I put Asheray up here? And then you got Ashtaroth. Hold on, let me see if I got her picture up here. There she go. And you got Ashtaroth. What did it say about Ashtaray? And third, Ashtaroth, his virgin daughter, into whose keeping he had assigned life and death, or rather the power of begetting and the power to cause death with mortals. So again, Osiris made his godhead to consist of three persons. First, himself as the fountain of the universe, whose name was unspeakable. Second, Baal, his only begotten son, into whose keeping he had assigned the earth and all mortals thereon. And third, Ashtaroth, which would be equivalent to Aset or Isis, his virgin daughter, into whose keeping he had assigned life and death, or rather the power of begetting and the power to cause death with mortals. See that? That was Osiris right there, scheme, using his partners. They were partners before they split up. So that was his godhead. That was his trinity. Verse 4. Osiris was the most cunning of all the self-gods. See that? That's why Egypt is the way it is, yo. Osiris wasn't stupid. He wasn't playing by the rules of Sudga and Tian. He said, "Nah, I'm not gonna take the war route like they did and destroy everything. I'm gonna let them worship whoever they worship, but I'm gonna say that above all those deities, Osiris is the presider." See, Osiris was cunning. So again, Osiris was the most cunning of all the self-gods, for thus he appropriated the triangle of faiths, thus appropriated the names and powers of the Lord God, the false, now in hell. For only through Baal and Ashtaroth could any mortal or spirit ever attain to approach the arena of the throne in Ago Adin, Osiris' heavenly kingdom. See that? Out of all the millions of angels, only these two angels is the only ones, Baal and Ashtaroth, that could assist you into Osiris' heavenly place, Ago Adin, which in the Egyptian text is called the fields of rush, the fields of reed. That's the dwelling place of Osiris. So now, and look what it say here. For only through Baal and Ashtaroth could any mortal or spirit ever attain to approach the arena of the throne in Ago Adin. And here, again, they had to pass the high sentinel, Egypt, before they were entitled to the right to crawl on their bellies. To crawl on their bellies over the sacred pavement, the way to the heavenly place. Look at that. Osiris got you niggas crawling on your belly to see him. And you know what? That's a custom that you find, actually. I see it was in Tibet or somewhere. Let me see if I can pull up that picture. See that, yo? Yeah, this shit real, yo. This shit real. Osiris got niggas crawling on their belly. See that? You have the possibility of crawling on your belly to go visit your God after death. You know what I mean? Alright, so check it. You think this shit is fake about crawling on the belly? Nah, my nigga. This shit is real. And I'm about to show you. Watch this. Hold up. Put body. Yes, family. It's a vibes. Yeah, yo. And that's another thing. That Osiris wasn't the only one that had niggas crawling on their belly. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these other false gods had niggas crawling on their bellies. Pull up that Rise Clyde. And then we're going to pull up the picture again. So let me pull up. Hold on. Oh, man, my brother. Let me put this picture up real quick. So right here, right? Boom, what you have here. Look at that. These niggas crawling on their belly. See that? Those are Tibetan monks. well, I wouldn't necessarily say monks, but those are Tibetans. And whatever the religions they follow, whatever religion they follow, it got them crawling on their bellies. I ain't making this shit up. See that? That's what the gods got niggas doing out here. Look at that. They giving praises while they walking and get down and crawl on their belly to their destination. Huh? Scoop that over some. Let me bring in another picture of people crawling on their belly in honor of their God. These niggas doing the belly flop. Remember back in the day, you used to do that in the 80s, they used to do that, the snake walk, like that. You lay on your belly and you wobble like a snake, like up and down and shit. Them niggas doing the snake walk, the wobble. Shit, look at this, man. This is what they gods got them doing, family. So while we thinking, we got cats over here following these folks, got thinking they crazy. Look at these cats. Look what these cats doing. See that? I'm gonna read the verse again, but let me find another picture of these cats doing the belly flop. That shit went deep, yo. Things are run deep. So I'm glad we are able to get this understanding so we could be aware. Because these people, what they doing, they think they doing the right thing. They honoring their God by crawling on their belly. That's what their God told them to do. So they're like, all right, that's what we gonna do. So I'm like, wow. And these are Buddhists. That's what it is. These are Buddhists, yo. So if these are Buddhists doing this, guess what? That falls under Kabbalistes. Kabbalistes, the folks of who got these niggas doing that? Oh, Inaxa. It's all mixed up, yo. Ain't no telling with one of these gods. Ain't no telling with these gods. Look at this one. Look at this brother. Look at that. Look at that. Look how he crawling, yo. He like he tied too. Look at that. That's what Osiris got niggas doing, bro. Crawling on their bellies. So I'm going to read the verse again. Let me scale this down so we can see the dude crawling on his belly. I mean, so we can see Osiris, because this is what Osiris got cats doing. So here we have cats crawling on their bellies because of Osiris. So let's read that verse again. Let's read that verse again. What it say? It's stated, Osiris was the most cunning of all self-gods, for thus he appropriated the triangle of the Faithis, thus appropriated the names of the powers of the Lord God, the false, now in hell. For only through Baal and Ashtaroth could any mortal or spirit ever attain to approach the arena of the throne in Ago-Adim. And here, again, they had to pass the high sentinel, Egypt, before they were entitled to the right to crawl on their bellies. To crawl on their bellies over the sacred pavement, the way to the heavenly place. See that? That's exactly what you see in here, family. Look at that. This is like the sacred pavement that they're crawling over. Let me blow these up just in case you can't really see them good because they're small. Look at that. Look at that, bro. Look at the pavement. What did the verse say? What did the verse say? And here again they had to pass the high sentinel Egypt before they were entitled to the right to crawl on their bellies on the sacred pavement, the way to the heavenly place. So again, as above, so below. So if we see in these practices right now on earth, and what we're reading out the Oahspe is what's taking place in spirit, that goes to show you that these people are already prisoners to their false God by doing these acts. Crawling on their bellies like this. Look at that. Look at this dude, yo. Look at that dude, man. Look at that. Look at him. He look tired. But he think he doing something honorable to his God. He like, man, I'm in first place, man. I'm going to get there first. I'm going to show my God how loyal I am. So what did it state? And here again they had to pass the high sentinel Egypt before they were entitled to the right to crawl on their bellies over the sacred pavement, the way to the heavenly place, the heavenly palace. So this is what Osiris got them doing, yo. That's what Osiris got them doing, crawling on their bellies. Now, do you want to do that serving your God? And Osiris and Ashtaroth and Baal, they all with it. They're part of. They sit up there standing at the gate, looking at you crawl on your belly. That's what's going on. So Baal, he over here with it. Ashtaray, she over here with it. She with the crap. See that? That's sad, Joe. That's what your gods got y'all doing. So Osiris is in charge. You got Ashtaray and Baal, and then in order for them to allow anyone in, they got to crawl on their bellies. Crawl on your bellies over the sacred pavement, the way to the heavenly palace. Verse 5. Only the vice gods of Osiris and his chief marshals could walk upright. Huh? Yo, come on, man. This sounds like some slavery shit. Alright, slave master said you niggas gotta walk on your belly in order to get to church. In order for you niggas to pray to Jesus, I need all of y'all to lay on your belly and wiggle your way to church. Thus saith slave master. And then slave master talking with the house nigga, and the house nigga and slave master talking in the states what? Only the vice gods of Osiris and his chief marshals could walk upright to the capital palace. That's like saying only slave master and the house nigga and the slave house residents could walk upright. All the slaves and the field niggas got to crawl on their belly. That's the equivalent of what they saying here. They treating you like shit. And this is your God, Egypt. This is Osiris got you niggas crawling on your belly. Let me find out. Hold up. Let me see if I can find a picture of some Egyptians crawling on their belly. If I find that, it's over. Huh? This is what Osiris got y'all doing. This is what Osiris got y'all doing, crawling on y'all bellies. I'm like, wow. That shit run deep though, man. And this is in the heavenly kingdom. So now, only the vice gods of Osiris and his chief marshals could walk upright to the capital palace, and they with heads bowed low. And when Osiris was informed of Ahura's coming, he sent word that he should come upright with the head erected, but veiled from head to foot. To this Ahura gladly consented, and being thus veiled by Egypt, and handed over to the vice gods and the chief marshals, he walked upright till he came to the high arch of the palace. Here they halted, and Ahura saluted on the sign, old time love. And Osiris answered in the sign, joy in heaven. They go them signs. They throwing up them signs like them bangers. They throwing them up. Whereupon Ahura left the vice gods and walked near the throne, and Osiris came down, and they embraced each other's arms, not having seen each other for more than 1,000 years. Huh? More than 1,000 years. This is Osiris of Egypt talking about he ain't seen my man in 1,000 years. So we're talking long before Egypt existed. This deity who called himself Osiris was in the heavenly realm doing some other works. But notice, look how they treating their followers, yo. Look how they treating their servants. They said what? These niggas got to crawl on their belly. They treating you like subservient slaves, and this is Osiris of Egypt we talking about. Where the ma'at in that? So we can continue to expose these gods to show you the treatment of their followers, yo. Those who serve the Creator ain't got to crawl on no goddamn belly. When you go to Jesus Christ, you may be falling on your belly just like that. Lord Monk gonna have you niggas falling on your belly. All the false gods got these niggas on their belly. Belly flopping like a worm to their kingdom. You're like a worm to these gods. These guys is looking from their throne, looking at you on their belly, just crawling like little worms. Yeah, yo, this shit real, man. All these are deities. We already exposed what a deity is. A god is a deity. When we did the Strong's Concordance, it showed you what the deity was. So it's showing you that none of these cats worship the Creator in the Bible. They all worship angels. From Genesis to Revelations, the worship of the gods are the worship of angels. Prove me wrong, whoever disagree. I should have went on StreamYard, chime niggas in. But yeah, though. The God of the Bible is an angel. We done established that. It's been proven. It's only a matter of time to debate it again, whoever disagreed. Jay Mason, I see you. Peace, fam. Peace. Imagine the level of devotion that can be given by the loss of the Creator if they only knew. Exactly. Good night. Exactly, Malachi. These niggas is walking on crawling on their bellies like Asu in the beginning. That's what these false gods got their followers doing, yo. It's sad, man. And this is Osiris. These other gods got niggas crawling on their bellies too. What Jehovah say? Jehovah, this is a Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 45. Jehovah suffered the self-gods to prosper for more than 400 years. And Tian, Sudga, and Osiris became the mightiest gods that ever ruled on the earth. See that? It makes sense. Because Osiris is a well-known deity from Egypt. He's probably the most recognized deity of Egypt. And what did the Oahspe say about these deities? And Tian and Sudga and Osiris became the mightiest gods that ever ruled on earth. Know then these things of them in heaven and earth, whereof the libraries of Jehovah's kingdom relate more fully, that of which the followers is a synopsis. See, they got these records from the libraries of heaven. That's how we get them. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of these cats have a hard time dealing with the Oahspe and dealing with the source. They so accustomed and so locked in of going through translations and a book had to come through the past, but they're not used to dealing with a revelation that comes direct and then reference things of the past. They're not used to that. They used to going through them old holy books that's all got all type of errors, mistranslations from the mind of men. But the Oahspe came from the mind of the angels, came from the libraries of heaven. That's why it's a different book. That's why it hit different. You know what I mean? That's sad that they could not be convinced that there are higher heavens. Exactly. They can't be convinced that there are higher heavens. They don't even believe going to higher heavens. They believe remaining on earth. The kingdom of heaven is going to come to earth. So their scope is not even outward. Just like the young boy I debated, he don't believe. He said, "Oh man," he says humans were made for the earth, and he said we're not supposed to go to the out there in space or out there in heaven. So these cats is going to be bound after death, bound in grade. This is where they're going to be bound in grade 1. All these cats we debating and they stuck thinking that the kingdom of God is going to come to earth. This is where they're going to be at. You see where it say grade 1? What that say? Lowest. Your heavenly kingdom is coming to the lowest. It's not like the New Jerusalem is descending down and going to the third heaven and residing there, and you got to make your way up there through perjury, through purity and purgatory. No, the New Jerusalem is resting on the filthy earth. And keep in mind, it's resting on the earth right after bloodshed and battle. So after the dragon is put away for 1,000 years, the nations are destroyed, the lake of fire and all that, they coming right back to the earth to dwell. And hold up, let me go to Revelation. What that last chapter, what that verse say in Revelation? Let me see. Let me see if I can find that particular verse where it say what it say. So this is in the Revelations chapter 22. Where is that? where it states, verse 14, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter through the gates into the city. For without are dogs. Now keep in mind, it's stated for without, meaning those who are without the gate of the city, meaning those who are without of the New Jerusalem that just descended down, new heaven and new earth, but those who are without. Who are the people who are without? For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, adulterers, whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Jesus hath sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the church. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, come, and let him that heareth say, come. Let him that say, what's that? Arthurus, come. Whosoever will let him take the waters of life freely. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy in this book, if any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. Well, there's many niggas suffering plagues right now because they done added and took away plenty things from this book. But the point of me bringing this up was the point that the kingdom of God, without, meaning outside of the kingdom of God, you're going to have dogs, horrors, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, adulterers. See that? And liars. That's so when your heavenly kingdom descend down to the earth, and if you not inside the kingdom, if you outside the kingdom, you got to face people like that. Sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers. And this is supposed to be the new kingdom. We went through all that shit in Revelation, the second coming, you know what I mean? Revelation 19, the second coming of whoever that is, appearing in the sky. He about to go to war with the nations. Out of his mouth come a sharp sword that destroys the nations. After all that, after niggas got thrown in the lake of fire, after all that, when the New Jerusalem is seen descending and the 12 gates are resounded to the 12th house of Israel, after all that, it stated what? What did it state? In verse 15? No, verse 14. Let's start from 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. So it's like, yo, if you made it blessed, come on in the kingdom. You good, bro. You did your thing. But what did verse 15 say? For without, meaning without the kingdom, are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, and adulterers. Whosoever loves and makes a lie. So outside the kingdom, you got hell going on. But this is on earth. This is your, this is the reality of your New Jerusalem, that you still going to have whoremongers, you still going to have sorcerers, and you still going to have murderers outside the kingdom. What you think they're going to be doing outside the kingdom? You ain't going to think they're going to try to get in the kingdom? You ain't going to think they're going to try to overthrow the kingdom like they did in antiquity? That's that part of the story the book ain't left out. The book stopped there. What is the case of these whoremongers? Who's going to redeem these whoremongers? What is the intention of these war sorcerers and murderers, these warlocks outside the kingdom? What they going to do? Because right after that, the book ends. That's Revelation chapter 22, verse 15. And the book ends at verse 20. So it don't give you an outlook of what the hell going to happen with them whoremongers and the murderers. I thought we got rid of the murderers. You're going to have murderers standing outside the kingdom. This is going to... Let me see if I can pull up a look. This how the kingdom going to be looking right here. Yo, this how niggas going to be. These how the murderers. These how the liars. The sorcerers. This how they going to be looking, trying to peep and get a look inside the kingdom and shit. You got the 12 gates. You in the kingdom. You good. But those on the outside looking in gonna be looking like this here. They gonna be like that right there. That's how they gonna be. That's the kingdom right there. That's the kingdom that separates you from the inside from the outside. These niggas done built a ladder trying to get in the kingdom. So what did the verse say again? Verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. So they go to the gate, they got it built up. You know what I mean? That's the, boom. But it states, verse 15, for without, those are the people without. They without the city. Dogs, sorcerers. So there go your sorcerers, your whoremongers, your murderers, and your adulterers, and your liars. Those are them standing outside the kingdom, lingering. What is the story of them? Because that's Revelation chapter 14 to 15. Chapter 22, 14 to 15, and the last verse for Revelations it stops at 20. Then the book ends. So you ain't giving us the outlook and the purpose of what these murderers, liars, adulterers, and sorcerers are doing, lingering outside the kingdom. But this is the kingdom that you wanted. This is the kingdom that rests on earth. So why you gonna be going through that? This is grade 1. So that's why you got murderers, murderers and adulterers and sorcerers, because those things exist in the lowest grade, grade 1 on earth. But if you get to grade 99, those things don't exist in that realm, because you got to be purged from those things. So anybody existing in those realms are purged from evil, period. So your New Jerusalem that you waiting on is going to come down, and you're going to have a whole bunch of cats standing around. They're going to be standing around the kingdom, just standing out there trying to get in. Who ain't going to try to get in the kingdom of God? You think they not? You think they're not going to try to get in the kingdom of God? Look at this one. This is how they're going to be looking outside the kingdom right here, fam. According to the Bible. See, I ain't making up nothing. Everything I read was scripture. Look at that. That's how they're going to be standing there. That's the wall of the kingdom. They go to New Jerusalem right there. Matter of fact, let's get that. The New Jerusalem, when the New Jerusalem descend down, right? All right, John, what did it say? Where John saw the New Jerusalem at? All right, there you go. Verse 20, this is chapter 21. Verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her bridegroom. So there go John talking about how he's seen the New Jerusalem coming down out the sky. I got to get that. Let me get the New Jerusalem. You know they got the depictions of that New Jerusalem. Let me see if I could pull up because we have people of picture. We have people of illustration. We learn better when we have visuals. So this is the kingdom right here. We already established that's the kingdom already on earth. So here go a kingdom. Here go a picture of the kingdom. Here go a picture of the kingdom floating down. So this is a picture. This is the New Jerusalem floating down, right? So that's it coming from heaven, way in the corner from heaven. Pew, bam! That will land on the earth. So now they go to New Jerusalem coming from heaven to earth. So now, what John say? John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned her bridegroom. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. So that's the verse talking about the New Jerusalem coming down. Then it gives you a description of the New Jerusalem where it states, coming in verse verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain, and showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, showing you that the spiritual thing that you call God and heavenly things, spiritual things are tangible. It's describing earth minerals, but these is coming out of heaven. Verse 12, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names, the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east, 3 gates, on the north, 3 gates, on the south, 3 gates, and on the west, 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. Alright, then it goes into the description and all that. So now we got heaven coming out, we got the New Jerusalem coming out of heaven, landing on earth. They give us a description, it's a walled around city. But then now let's go back now to chapter 22, verse 14 and 15. Blessed are they that do his commandment, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. So that city we just described is what they're talking about. For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, and adulterers, whosoever loves and maketh a lie. See that? Where they at in the lake of fire? I thought all them people got cast into the lake of fire. But here it is, according to the Bible, that they're without the kingdom. They're standing without the kingdom. Nor does it say that they're burning in the lake of fire in that instance. Huh? Let's go to the lake of fire verse. Verse 10. And that's Book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast, the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night. Huh? So they go to the lake of fire, the prophets, the beasts, and they gonna be thrown in there. And then after that took place, the New Jerusalem comes down in chapter 21. And then the New Jerusalem comes down, and there's a description given. That's the whole chapter 21 about. But then when we come to chapter 22, after the lake of fire, after the New Jerusalem, chapter 22, verse 14, blessed are they that do his commandment, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Verse 15, for without, meaning without the city, are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, and adulterers, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Why did they not get cast into the lake of fire? I thought the lake of fire was for them niggas. But how is it we find these set of people, murderers, right back outside the kingdom lingering, like you see in this picture? Just like that. There go your murderers, your sorcerers, your adulterers, knocking on the door in the kingdom, trying to get in. Your God is inside that kingdom because your God said he's going to dwell with men in the kingdom. But God didn't have a plan for these niggas? What's the rescue plan for these people that's lingering outside the kingdom? It's only so long they can linger. They're gonna after a while, this was gonna happen. they standing outside the kingdom for right now. This was gonna happen after. Let me pull up a picture. This is what the city, this is what the kingdom gonna end up turning into. Yo, this shit is hilarious. So the kingdom gonna go for that, you know, the whoremongers and the murderers, these are killers. You know what I mean? So they're gonna go from that to this. That's what they're gonna go to. They're gonna go from standing outside the kingdom to this. Goddamn destroying the kingdom. That's what they're gonna go to, yo. They're gonna topple and overthrow the kingdom. They're gonna go from this. At first, yeah, they're gonna be outside the kingdom. Because he who leads in the captivity shall go into captivity. So the cycle continues. So once the whoremongers and murderers and adulterers and sorcerers standing outside the kingdom, they're without, eventually it's gonna lead to this. They're gonna find their way within. And they're gonna cause havoc. But I'm showing you that. I'm saying that to show you that the concept of the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven to earth makes no sense when you're going to have murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers lingering outside the kingdom. When in the Oahspe it states that you're going to progress off the planet from the first to the second to the third, and your ass up out of here into the Ethereal realms. So while we in the Ethereal realms, you niggas going to be on earth having to deal with murderers outside the kingdom. While we totally clean and free from that, we out of here. See that? That's what I'm saying. That's why this Bible is so easy to just decimate when you start understanding and have something to cross-reference it, which has great and more depths to let you know. No. Nat Deezy, what's good, family? It's been a minute. Shalom, Maki. See that? Exactly. What's the redeem? Yeah, they ain't got no redemption plan for that. And keep in mind, what I read is the book of Revelations. Look, that was Revelations, what I read just now. Chapter 22. Revelations chapter 22, verse 14 over here. And when I turn the next page, the book is over. The book is done. It's over. They ain't gonna tell you what happened to the whoremongers. They ain't gonna tell you what happened to the murderers and sorcerers. What if they? They're gonna overthrow the kingdom, yo. This was gonna happen. Let's go to the Oahspe. Let's make sense of what they couldn't. Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, right? Because this is the rise and falls of nations within the arc cycle of 3,000 years. So while they thinking that New Jerusalem is going to be like that for eternity, no, that's just the start of another cycle that y'all going to have to encounter. That New Jerusalem that came down, that got jasper and crystals and all that, that's going to get overturned and toppled just like the old Jerusalem did. And it's going to be toppled, and it's going to be left remnants for the coming generations. See that? Y'all ain't got the full spectrum. The Bible stops at Revelations, and it stops at the New Jerusalem established on earth, and then it stops at whoremongers and murderers surrounding it. So damn, that's not a good ending. If I was watching the movie, and I just moved into this nice house, nice house, boom, 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 and then as the movie going off, you know, the camera pulled back like from a drone angle, and you just see all these zombies surrounding the house. How long you think I'm gonna be safe in that house, huh? Like the zombie apocalypse, zombie apocalypse going on outside of you, without, but within. Everything is good within, but without, you got zombie apocalypse going on. See that? And your God is inside with you. Your God is inside with you while zombie apocalypse is surrounding the goddamn house. Murderers and adulterers and sorcerers, huh? But this is how it works. In the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, right? Chapter 7. Chapter 7. Verse 4. It is not the place of a prophet to answer these things by the accusations of ignorance or war. The prophet must account for that the tendency in man to fall into ignorance and fall into war. In other words, he must find the cause of causes. Alright, so here's where it starts in verse 5. At certain periods of time for hundreds of years, nations have dwelt in peace and have risen in virtue. Okay, sounds about right. Then turn to war within themselves and go down in death. So it's telling you right here, there's a time where man is a time for war, a time for peace, and a time for war, just with that stating. But this is how the arc cycle of 3,000 years play out. Verse 6, the prophet of old divided times into cycles of 3,000 years with slight variations. And they found out that certain periods of time, some certain impulses came upon the people, causing them to try to be better and wiser. Even as the same feeling is this day manifesting itself in many nations. The scale then rises for 400 years, like what I was saying earlier. Peace for 400 years or more. And after that, wars, epidemics come upon the people. Then they begin to decline, especially in virtue and peace. So what I'm saying here is that your New Jerusalem that's established, it may be peaceful, roughly about 400 to 600 years of peace. See what they say? At certain periods of time for hundreds of years have dwelt in peace, and have the nations dwelt in peace and risen in virtue, and then turn to war. So that New Jerusalem, you're going to be at peace. Just like when the Messiah reigned for 1,000 years, it was peace. And then what happened after that 1,000 years, nigga? Satan was released and warfare started, right? So what the book states, the New Jerusalem came down, everything is peaceful. But then you got these murderers and whoremongers and these killers, sorcerers, standing outside the kingdom. What you think is going to happen after a while? Let's read. And they found that such periods of time, certain impulses came upon the people, causing them to try to be better and wiser. Even as the same feeling is this day manifesting in many nations. Verse 7. The scale then rises for 400 years, more or less, and that wars and epidemics come upon the people. So after the peace comes the wars and epidemics. When Israel left Egypt, they was dwelling in peace prior to going to war with Canaan. Understand the pattern. So understand that. Understand what's going on. And showing you a pattern here. Hold on 1 second, fam. So it's showing you a pattern of 400 years of peace in a time of war. Right? So again, it stated what? The scale then rises for 400 years or more or less. Then after that, war and epidemic come upon the people. They begin then to decline, especially in virtue and peace. And that's exactly what happened to the Israelites. They declined in virtue and peace because after a while, the Israelites decided that they wanted a king. And then once they got a king, they started going to war. King David, he went to war. And all the other kings after him, it was basically war at that time. So Israel was at peace. Then they fell from peace to war, declining in virtue. Because when you go to war, you decline in virtue and peace. So they began then to decline, especially in virtue and peace. But the general intelligence suffers little for about another 600 or 700 years. See that? After which time they destroy their libraries and records and reduce themselves to ignorance and vice. Then follows a darkness of 1,000 years. Just like your Bible talking about that 1,000-year reign, that 1,000-year reign of peace with the Messiah, but that's the same 1,000-year reign where Satan is kept in darkness and ignorance before he could rise up again according to the scriptures. But here, this is showing you the behavior of a cycle of 3,000 years, the rise and fall of nations. So it's a pattern. So while you thinking that New Jerusalem is coming down from heaven and you're going to be reigning for eternity, no. You may reign for about 400 or 500 years, but then guess what? What did the verse say? After the 400-year period, the scale then rises for 400 years, more or less. After that, wars and epidemic come upon the people. They begin to decline, especially in virtue and peace, but the general intelligence suffers little for about another 600 or 700 years. After which time they destroy their libraries and records and reduce themselves to ignorance and vice. Then follows a darkness of 1,000 years or more, with slight intermissions. And guess what it states here? In another 600 years, the corporeal senses, intellect, begin to ascend. Self-conceit come upon the people. They think they are at the beginning of wisdom on the earth. See that? We just came out of the Dark Ages. We just came out of the Renaissance. And we thinking we coming out into some new shit. Not knowing that we went through 1,000 years of darkness, the Dark Ages. From out the Dark Ages came the Renaissance. So it's showing you. We historically, you see the pattern that the Oahspe is laying out as far as these measures of 3,000 years and the rise and fall of nations within those 3,000 years. In other 600 years, the corporeal senses, intellect, begin to ascend. Self-conceit cometh upon them. They think they are at the beginning of wisdom on earth. Then cometh another cycle of light. Angels descending from the unseen worlds. New revelations crop out in every quarter. Inspirations come upon mortals, and they go to the opposite extreme, superstition and obedience to unseen influences. Such then is the general character and behavior of man during a cycle, and he rises and falleth in all these particulars as regular as the tides of the ocean. That's why I can make reference historically with these time periods of the rise and fall, because it's a regular thing in history. So when your New Jerusalem come down from heaven, I, John, saw the New Jerusalem come down out of God from heaven, prepared as a bridegroom, and then it gives you a description of the New Jerusalem. I had a wall great high, 12 gates, and at the name of the 12 gates, 12 angels, the name of the written on there, and which were the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. And there were 3 gates for each side, north, south, east, and west. So they give you a description of the kingdom, and then it talks about those who are within the kingdom for keeping the commandments are blessed. But then it shows those without are the dogs, the sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, adulterers, and whosoever love and make it the lie. So these people are without the kingdom. So the book ends after that, beloved. Then it talks about blotting out those who, or plaguing those who add anything to the Bible. And if any man shall add or take away from the words of this prophecy, God shall take away his part of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written. All right, so check that. Let me read that again. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city. So if God takes you out of the holy city, where are you going to be at? If God decides to take you out the holy city, you're going to be where? For without are dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, and adulterers, and liars. So if your ass don't make it into the kingdom, you're going to be out there with the murderers. You're going to be out there with these niggas. Where that picture at? You're going to be out there with... No. You're going to be... That's where you're going to be right there. That's you're going to be looking just like that, begging to get in the kingdom with the murderers and the adulterers, the sorcerers. Please, God, let me in the kingdom, man. I'm sorry, man. I promise I won't do that. I ain't know. Your ass going to be begging to get back in the kingdom because you're going to be among the whoremongers, the murderers, the sorcerers. What did it say? God shall take away his part out of the book and out of the holy city and from things which are written in this book. So he's taking you out the holy city. And why is he taking you out the holy city? Why is he taking you out the holy city? Why? Because it says, for I testify unto every man that hear the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. So if you add, you're going to get plagued. And then what does it say? If any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city. So what is that taking you? How many people that added and taken away from this book? The Council of Nicaea is the one who compiled the book. Ezra is the one who compiled the Tanakh. Constantine is the one who gave you what we have today. They've been adding and taking away. What did they say? If they add or take away, where they gonna be at? They're going to be outside the holy city. And who is outside the holy city? The murderers, adulterers, whoremongers. That's where you niggas is heading. Outside the city. Because all of you Israelites, you got a whole group of Israelites that don't accept the New Testament. They done took away. You got some Israelites, you got some Christians that don't read the Old Testament. They done took away. You have the apocryphal books that are not in the King James. They used to be in the original King James, but it's not in this one. They done took it out. The Bible mentions Enoch. You have a book called Enoch. It's not added. They took it out. You have the Gospel of Barnabas. It's not in here. You got the Lord, the war against the Lord, the book of the Lord's War. It's not in here. They took it out. They added the Babylonian 7-day creation story. Because when Moses came with Torah, he said, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one." That was the first law. And then to love thy neighbor as thyself, that was the second and greatest commandment. And all two laws hang on these two commandments. Moses didn't come saying, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. When Israel went into captivity, that is when they learned the Babylonian literature. And when they came back with Ezra to reestablish the Second Temple is when they gave you the Tanakh, which gave you the 7-day story creation, which was added to Torah. Because if there's 613 laws in Torah, out of 613 laws, which law is the story of creation? Give me the numerical number. Is it the 10th law? Is it the 40th? Is it the 120th, the 230th? Is it the 513th law? What law can I go into Torah and read where it states, in the beginning, God created heavens and the earth? Because stories are not instructions. A story is not a law, statute, or commandment. The Bible starts off with the story of creation. They implemented that story of creation in the beginning of the book when Torah originally started with, "Hail Israel, the Lord thy God is one." See that? So all them niggas gonna be standing outside the kingdom, seeking to get in, being with the adulterers, sorcerers. See that? A holy silly city, yeah. You caught that. You caught that. A holy silly city. Cosp, what's good, fam? Peace to the beloved Cosmon Cal. Putting that pan yesterday. Going in. You know what I mean? So we balanced over here. We exposed the gods, showed you the authority, showed you women place. We good over here. Holy silly. Yeah, they coming to the holy silly city. The New Jerusalem is the holy silly city. Because you got to be silly as hell to think that God dwells inside of a temple, a kingdom, and you have murderers and whoremongers lingering outside the kingdom. God is inside the kingdom. That's what it said. He's going to be dwelling in the kingdom. Do I got to get it again? God is going to be inside the kingdom. God ain't in heaven. When the New Jerusalem come, God ain't in heaven no more. And I heard a voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. It says God himself shall be there with them. We already discovered that God is a man, so we can't say the Spirit of God is going to be within man. He's spiritually going to be there. No, it said God himself. Moses seen God face to face as a man speaketh to his friend. Jacob seen God face to face. So God is going to be dwelling inside the temple with his people while you got the murderers and sorcerers and adulterers lingering on the outside. So while God is on earth, who's presiding in heaven? Because he said he's dwelling with his followers. See what the scriptures say? Matter of fact, let me see something. Revelation. Let me see if I can pull it up so y'all can see the verse. Revelations 22. What verse that is? Oh, 21:3. Revelations 21:3. Y'all gonna see God is coming and dwell in the church himself. He ain't say like how in the how Jesus said, I'm gonna send or they say I'm gonna send the comforter. I'm gonna send the comforter, the Holy Comforter, and it's a spirit. Nah, this ain't no spirit we talking about. This is God, he himself, as the verse say. Alright, so check it. This is the King James Version. Since they let them King James. When I say the New King James. They got the King James and they got the New King James. And then they got the American Bible. They got all type of shit going on. So check it, right? So check this, right? Yeah, what is it? Boom. Alright, so check it, right? King James. This is Revelation chapter 21, verse 3. It states, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is within, and he dwell with them, and they shall be his people. There's a catcher. God himself shall be with them and be their God. See that? It said God himself shall be with them. Be with who? Be with those in the kingdom. So God is going to physically, spiritually, angelically be on the earth inside the kingdom while the whoremongers is lingering outside. Let's get that chapter 22. Let's get that Revelations 22 real quick. Revelations 22:15. Boom. There you go right there. Look what it say. All these translations. Let me get the King James. What it say? For without, meaning those are without the kingdom, are the dogs, sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and adulterers, and whatsoever loveth and maketh a lie. So those are without. Matter of fact, let me go to 14 and do it justice. Because the 14 states those within. So all right, here go verse 14. It says, blessed are they that do his commandment, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Right? Fair enough. All right, fair enough. But look what verse 15 states. So that, they said they enter the gate into the city, whatever. But then when we couldn't, verse 15, what did that say? For without, meaning for those without, who's going to be outside the kingdom, for without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and adulterers and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Those are going to be the people lingering outside the kingdom. And then what? What is the with that verse when they talk about the liars? Let me go to verse 18. Now check this, verse 18, right? So this is your reality. This is your New Jerusalem. This is your reality. You're gonna be in the kingdom, but you're gonna be around the murderers. Is gonna be right outside. So if you mess around and step outside the kingdom, you may get got. Because when you step outside the kingdom, God ain't with you no more. Because He inside the kingdom. His spirit is dwelling within the kingdom, not without. So God gonna be like, nigga, if you step outside this kingdom, nigga, you on your own. Them murderers gonna get your ass. I ain't got nothing to do with that. We inside the kingdom. That's how God gonna be playing y'all, man. So look what it says. For I testify unto every man that hear the words of the prophecy in this book. It says what? If any man, that's key right there, any man. It could be Yeshua, it could be Moses, any man. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. So if any man, what? If any man shall add unto these things, what did they add? What did they add to the Torah? Because that was the original source, the Torah. 613 instructions. The first adding was when they came back with the Tanakh. After the Torah came to Tanakh. Tanakh is when they added. What did they add to the Torah? They added the story of creation. They added the flood of Noah. And they added the writings of the prophets. What did the scripture say? If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in the book. See that? That's if you add and shit. Anybody who ever added to the Bible and it's in the canons the way it is, that's your judgment. It's not my reality. It's your reality. It's the God you follow. Be free from these plagues. And verse 19 states what? If any man shall take away, again, if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life. And what? Look what it say right here. And out of the holy city. Right there, and out of the holy city. We just read those who dwell without, meaning without the holy city. So if you adding and taking away, if you making up shit, leaning on your own understanding, adding your private interpretation, it's a great possibility and a great probability that your ass gonna be standing outside the kingdom with the murderers and adulterers and whoremongers. See that? That's what's going on, fam. Easy work. Easy work. You dig? Exactly. Stephen, spiritual light, I see you, King. Yeah, they done added so much, it don't even make sense. This is supposed to be, if you want to get technical, the real laws in the Bible is the Leviticus laws. That's what the law, the 613 laws is the Leviticus laws. The book of Leviticus encompasses the laws. The whole book is talking about the laws. The book of Numbers goes into the wars and the rebellions, but the book of Leviticus, that's the law for the most part. And toward the ending of the Exodus, you have some things about the building of the temple, but the book of Leviticus, this is Torah. That's it. That's the laws. Everything else in this book is stories. Everything else is stories. The book of Leviticus is the laws, statutes, and instructions. What does it say? Leviticus is God's guidebook for his newly redeemed people, showing them how to worship and obey a holy God. Fellowship with God through sacrifice and obedience show the awesome holiness of the God of Israel. Indeed, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Leviticus focuses on the worship and walk of the nation of God. See? Exodus, Israel was redeemed and established as a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Leviticus shows how God's people are to fulfill their priestly calling. The Hebrew title is Wayara, however you pronounce that, and he called the Talmud refers to Leviticus as the law of the priests and the law of the offerings. That which pertains to the Levites. From this word, the Latin Vulgate derived from its name Leviticus, which was adopted as the English title. This title is slightly misleading because the book does not deal with the Levites as a whole, but more with the priests and the segment of the Levites. See that? So the law of Moses and Aaron, the priesthood, this is dealing with the priest. This is dealing with the law, statutes, and commandments. What you got to do. You know what I'm saying? What you got to do. The peace offering, the meat offering. See that? The sin offering. All these are your laws. The trespass offering, the burnt offering. All these is right here. Look at the burnt offering. This is in the what? Chapter 6. Verse 8, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the law of the burnt offering. It is the burnt offering because of the burning upon the altar at night unto the morning, and the fire of the altar shall be burning. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and his linen breeches shall he put upon his flesh, and take up the ashes which the fire hath consumed, with the burnt offering on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar. And he shall put off the garment, and put on other garments, and carry forth the ashes without the camp unto clean places. So they're telling you how to do the offerings. This is the law, statutes, and commandments. The sin offering, the peace offering. See what I'm saying? For the book of Leviticus, for the most part, is the laws. The law, statutes, and commandments. Everything else outside of that in the Bible are stories. From Genesis to Exodus, stories. When you get to Leviticus, you get instructions. They're telling you things you could do. You take this, you do this, you put this on. Those are the instructions. After Leviticus, when you go to the book of Numbers, it's back to stories again. It's back going to conquer the land of Israel. I mean, the land of Canaan. See that? So the only instructions you really have is the book of Leviticus. That's the instructions. You dig? The real laws can be found in the Nazarene literature, no doubt. Would you read your kids the book of Leviticus? Right, exactly. That's like children to be thinking they're hearing a horror story. And the real commandments were spoken. That's right, Elijah. Orally speaking. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Fire for bun. Yeah, yo. So we showing and proving that, you know, again, the kingdom of God that a lot of people are waiting on, you're gonna have to face whoremongers and murderers around them shits. Good thing we ain't staying there. We ain't stopping there. We headed to the Ethereal realms. We up out of here. Let me see. We up and out. We was talking earlier about the continent of Pan too. Talking about that continent of Pizan. That ring of fire. See that? And if you notice, if you look at the continent of Pan to a degree, it got an outlook of like Africa a little bit. You got that African outlook to a degree. And when you look at Australia, it got that hook like Africa right there. You know what I mean? It's like this Papa Africa, this the Godfather Africa, and Africa is the little Africa, like offshoot. But yeah, it's interesting. The continent of Pan, yo. And it's interesting how, that continent was sunk underwater, and it had cities and all that. Thousands of cities was already intact when they sunk that continent. But what I found interesting was when I put in Pacific floor, what came up. Hold on, let me pull up this picture of This is a illustration of the Pacific Ocean's floor. Let me get that. Yeah, I put that in the right folder. Oh, they let me think it. Hold up, now they gotta let me get that picture. Let me see that. Yeah, I found this quite interesting. Because the ocean, because for those who know the Oahspe, the Pacific Ocean, that shit had that shit was compressed. But here, right here, this was found on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Right here. A yellow brick road. A yellow brick road. That right there, that's on the Pacific Ocean floor. Look at that. That's masonry work right there. That's on the bottom of the Pacific. Not only that, I'm going to show you the locality where in the bottom of the Pacific that's at. Because they pinpointed. What was that shit called? Yeah, that's interesting. That's on the bottom of the Pacific. Call it the Yellow Brick Road. So these are the remnants of Pan. You know what I mean? Ain't that something? You dig? I was trying to find a picture of the ocean where they got a there it goes. That is, yeah. Here we go. All right, so this is where that picture is at. I mean, this is where they found the yellow brick road at that you seen on the map. The location that they found that at is right here. Let me show you. Where it ain't download. Hold on. Let me see. That may be a different format. See if I can get another picture. That one ain't downloaded. So let's see. Let me get another view. All right. Yes, family. You want to keep the vibes going, yeah? For show you where them find the yellow brick road. Yeah, yo. There's so much to discover. Alright, let me go to the website, see if I can pull it from there. Well, matter of fact, hold up. Hold up, let me see if I can pull up this pic. Yeah, it's the yellow brick road, yo. Alright, there you go. Matter of fact, let me just go to the screen. Alright, so check it. Instead of me doing all that. Come back up. Let me open this right to bong. That's where they found the yellow brick road, yo. On the global map they showing you, then on the ocean they showing you. Lala, Ukalana Ridge. That's damn near smack in the middle of the Pacific. That's Pan. That's hard in the middle of Pan where they found these right here. Let me go back up. There go the yellow bricks right there. This is where they found that at. That right there, look at that. Like I said, so the ocean floor is the top. So that's the ceiling. That's probably a building top right there. See that? Look at that. Look at that. That's probably the top of a building. Or the side of a building if they collapsed. Yeah, yo, that's Pan, yo. That's hard in the Pacific of Pan. They call it the yellow bricks in the Pacific Ocean. And that's where it's located, right there. Smack in the heart of the goddamn Pacific. See that? Yes, family. You dig? That's how God is revealed. The whole Lemuria move, they talking about Pan. And until they could understand Pan, then they could put a picture of Pangea up. Because the people who put together Pangea, they left out Pan. So when you look at Pangea, it's incomplete. Pangea is incomplete when you look at it. For example, let me pull up that site. Yeah, with it. So like incredible map of Pangea with modern day borders. But now look, this is a Pangea when all the continents were supposed to be together. But they ain't got Pan. They forgot. They don't know the history. They ain't got this knowledge. So even the people who produced the famous images of Pangea, they lack the knowledge of Oahspe with the continent of Pan. But that is right and exact that the continents was connected like this. Now, if you ask me personally, I believe the continents was split before man was created. Because there is no historical record of man ever talking about all the continents being one landmass. You know what I'm saying? I think Jehovah split the continents and then created man. And animals. Because you got certain animals that are indigenous to certain lands that are not indigenous to other lands. So if they was all connected, I don't know how they would just walk to the other side and become indigenous to that land. But when the continents were split, and them ocean waters goddamn came in between, a whole nother ball game. But yeah, though, that's Pan, yo. Yes, family. We'll see like y'all going in on the chat, I see. In Japanese, Japan is a relic of the continent of Pan. So I'm pull up Okinawa, Japan. See now, Okinawa, Japan. These are the remnants left behind from Pan. See that? This is the island of Okinawa, Japan. And these are the monuments found under there. See that? Look at that. See that? I remember I did this. when I first broke down the Oahspe over 10 years ago, talking about the continent of Pan, pulled out these illustrations and pictures. This is what's left behind of the remnant of the continent. Look at the scuba diver. See that? These are monuments left behind in the Pacific, showing you the remnants of the flood. Look at that. Look at that. So we're talking 25,000 years. Look at that. Those are megaliths. Yeah, yo. Oh, that's Graham Hancock. He done went down there. Okay. Look at the evidence. The evidence of Pan. Yeah. Yo, y'all wildin'. Awaken to the truth. I see you, pieces. I see you chomped in. For the Creator to let the false gods run their course the way they do, what they were doing on Pan had to be far worse than what the false gods do. Yeah, that's yeah, I won't disagree with that. Because, you know, what happened really was that it wasn't even too much an act of the false gods per se. Well, of course it was on God's watch. But it shows that the grades of mortals has descended to the point where they was damn near unredeemable. Niggas turned into cannibals, moving on all fours. So it's like trying to tell a damn dog, nigga, hear the words of Jehovah and follow my commandments. Man had diverted that far gone. That Jehovah was like, yo, we got to damn cut this continent and sink it. As a matter of fact, Jehovah didn't have to do that, but it was a testimony for man. It was for us to know. It was to us to bear witness of the powers of the Creator. It was for us to bear witness that that the Creator has high-ranking angels that could pull off these things and can pull off these things. But yeah, once the gods lose control, like when them drudges, man, them drudges, them is the niggas that lead to goddamn these type of things. But see, today, our situation is bad through violence among each other. But then we're talking about a time where, so all right, for example, so just imagine what we going through today with the violence. Say we go to war on a national level. We go to war. They hit a nuke. America, all the nations get hit with nukes. I'm talking about say we got 52 countries. Say every 52, all in the world, the major cities got hit with nukes. Bang. So that means no more going to school. That means no more going to the grocery store. So now, with that being said, say you have children during that time, and there is no one to teach them schooling, alphabets, so the intelligence of speech and language will decrease. Intellectualism a lot of times is based on learning. You know what I mean? So once the language decreases, the ignorance will be more. Because it's cats who can't read, they ignorant. They do more violence than to do good. A person who got more intelligence with reading or was more as an avid reader, they less to be more violent to say. Just using that as an example. But saying that to say is, when we lose the educational field, and generations has passed since the loss of that educational field, man will descend back to damn near barbarianism. Just imagine raising children without a language. You know what I'm saying? So, Man will descend back to barbarianism like beast of the field, running around this motherfucker like King Kong, beating his chest. Looking for anything to eat, because he hungry, because ain't no more grocery stores. So certain things, man, can conduce man to certain conditions where man could be highly righteous, sitting on the throne like a king, or he could descend down to barbarianism and be moving just as like the animals in the field. That's the two natures, the two sides of man, the higher and the lower self. Lower self is the beast man, the animalistic side of man. The higher self is the opposite. Exactly, Jibril. There was some unlawful things going on. Yeah, the Pacific Ocean is huge. All type of shit going on in that ocean. Yeah, wow. Yeah, wow. But yeah, though. You know, we skip around. Yeah, skip around, yo. Let's bring up the music, yeah? Let's bring it up. That up. Vibes, yes. It's a vibes. See, when I was breaking down the arc cycle, the behavior of an arc cycle in Cosmon prophecy, it says that after such time the libraries are destroyed and man is reduced to ignorance and vice, and then cometh the darkness of 1,000 years. Meaning the time period where man shall not know nothing about education. He just out here in the field just surviving. It's a vibes. Vibes, yes, family, it's a vibes. Large up yourself, big up yourself. It's your selector, Selah, Shalom. And we in the recreational phase, the festivities, where the atmospherians and the Etherians mingle and converse about Jehovah's creation. Yeah. Select the Selah, Shalom. It's a vibes. Yes, family. What if I twist up the next one right after that? Avid smoker, yeah. It's a vibes. It's a vibes. Yes, family, we on the dance floor. When have you ever been to a party and you get the words of Jehovah while dancing on the dance floor? Book of East, daughter of Jehovah. Chapter 8. It's a vibes. Chapter 8, right? Verse 16. No, verse 15. Yet, O God, be not puffed up with hope and sudden success. I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the Cosmon era, but it is like a new birth brought forth in pain and with much labor. Now, that is true God telling you, or that is God, that is the Ethereal angels telling God, like, yo, don't be too puffed up and excited because you done made it to the Ethereal, the Ark of Cosmon. He stated, I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the Cosmon era. We are in the Cosmon era. This deity said, I done seen many worlds, many corporeal worlds arrive at this point that you're at. So don't be too excited. I know this may be your first time, but I done seen this numerous of times. So that's going to show you that there's other inhabitable places in the cosmos. We already know that, but for the non-believers or the Bible believers who think that only Earth there's humans and there is nothing going on outside of the firmament. So it states again, yet, O God, be not puffed up with the hope of sudden success. I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the Cosmon era, but it is like a new birth brought forth in pain and with much labor. And that's exactly what you see today. We in the Cosmon era, but look at all the crime, the murder, the war going on. Brought forth with much pain and with much labor, but look at the benefits of the new age. We technologically advanced, we flying, we driving, we moving around. That's the Cosmon era, the technological age. Verse 16. Thou hast yet several generations of mortals to be born the Cosmon before Cosmon come. The four dark corners, hear this, the four dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand of Jehovah's. See that? The four false gods that lodged in the corners, the four corners, meaning the four corners of the world. He says what? The four dark corners of the lodge will bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand and of Jehovah's. Now, who call lodges lodges? Huh? Don't the Masons call their temple lodges? Let me see if I can get a picture of that. Jaja said, you'll be mindful of these Masons. Said, be mindful of these Masons. Let me pull up a picture. Yeah, these are the lodges, yo. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it, beloved. Watch this. Watch this, family. Watch this. They want to talk about masonry. Nah, Jaja expose all. Look at that. What that say? Image of America's New Jersey Masonic Lodge? Huh? Look at that. Huh? Those are Masons. What did the verse say? What did the verse say? Where we at? Thou has yet several generations of mortals to come. Thou hast several generations of mortals to be born before Cosmon come. It states, the four dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand and of Jehovah's. See that? Who called they temples lodges but Masons? These are the four dark corners. John Newbro was a Mason, but guess what? He left Masonic. He left the lodge to go find and seek higher knowledge. He tells you that in his own writing. When you leave an organization, they don't like you no more. How many people have you left Christianity and your former church members got a grudge against you? How many of you left the Israelite doctrine and your former Israelite brothers and sisters got a grudge against you? How many of you left Islam and your former Islamic brothers and sisters got a grudge against you? How many of you left the Masonic lodges and your former Masonic brothers had a grudge against you? But those who left were seeking higher light in Jehovah's way. Rather for those who seek Jehovah's higher light are more in the ways of Jehovah. Although those who claim to maintain the rites and ceremonies has forsaken the spirit of truth. This is a Masonic lodge right here. See that? This is what's going on in their temples, yo. These are these four corners of the beast. See, Oahspe exposes these things. We can't say, oh, John Newbro was part of, or the Oahspe got something to do with it. No, Oahspe exposing the dark lodges, the 4 dark lodges, the 4 heads of the beast. Look at that. That's how they getting busy in the temple, in the lodge. But look at the idol worship. They can't be of Jehovah with idols in the temple. We ain't got no idols of men. Look at that. That's what's going on over there. That's what's going on over there. So what did the verse say? The 4 dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand and of Jehovah's. See that? The 4 false gods will fight thee to death. These niggas is gonna fight you to the death. Don't the Masonic orders run the world? Huh? Ain't they behind certain things that's going on? Don't they got the lodges and the mysteries and the keys? Then you got the Black Masons. Let me pull that up, because a lot of people be like, oh, you know, he was a Mason. You got the, let me pull up Black Masons. Then what? Now what you got to say? And what you gonna, and then not only do they got the Black Masons, they got an old picture of the Black Masons. Look at this. Who? And that's another thing. Who call them lodges? Masons. I ain't put a skin complexion on it. I just emphasized the word lodge. Who named their temple lodges but Masons? Whether you're black or whether you're white, it don't matter. Look, they go Black Masons. Let me put that whole screen real quick. Look at that. Harem Grand Lodge, Delaware. Look at the brothers. Look at the brothers. They part of the secret society, or they part of the order. What they learning in there? If it ain't Jehovah's Kingdom, what they learning? If it's in opposition to Jehovah's march, what they learning? What they following? That's the question. That's the question. What they learning? See that? Look at that. See that? You got the Haram Graham Lodge, and then you got in Delaware, and then you got the New Jersey Masonic Lodge. All this going on up north. You got the white Masons, and then you got the black Masons. What they learn? What are these parties learning? Are they learning the March of Jehovah? Do they got the goddamn Oahspe? Do they know about John Newbro being a Mason? John Newbro was a 33rd degree Mason. That's a high-ranking Mason. He wasn't no dummy. He wasn't no dummy. You can't be a 33rd degree Mason and be a dummy. Black or white. So now what's the argument? What's the excuse now? But the point of this, the point of me saying this is what the verse is stating. It says, thou has yet several generations of mortals to be born before Cosmon come. The 4 dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand in Jehovah's. So they're talking about the lodge. Now, let me add a precept. Let me go back to the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, because it touches on the lodges there too. See, but they don't talk about these lodges like as if these lodges in cahoot with the Creator. It's exposing these motherfuckers. I was like, wow. All right, so let's get it. Where it's at? We're talking about the lodges at. Where the lodge at? Where they at yet? Alright. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? That may be in Sufa. Yeah, but who but the Masons call their temples lodges? That's the point. That's the case in point here. Alright. So check it. Right? Well, I still. Damn, did I lose the page? Oh no, I got it. Alright, cool. So this is the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 10. Is it chapter? No, chapter 11. Chapter 11. Let me see where I want to start at. I want to go straight to that. All right, right here. I'm going to start at verse. This is actually verse 5, but I'm going to start within the middle of the verse to drive my point home. It states, as a circle divided into 4 quarters is the symbol of the name of Jehovah, thus making the signs. Clothed twice across, who hath dominion over all things, so are the 4 sides of the world, represented by the 4 fathers in the chambers of light, in the temple of holiness, which is square with the east, west, north, and south, for the honor and glory of our Father in heaven. How are they numbered? 33 and 199. Wherefore these signs of blood and death? They are the 4 heads of the beast. They are always stationed in the 4 corners of the lodge. Oahspe describes the lodge as the 4 heads of the beast. And it states what? It says they are the 4 heads of the beast. They are always stationed in the 4 corners of the lodge. Why in the 4 corners? Because of the darkness upon them. They profess peace, but practice war. How are they numbered? 1, 11, 66, and 666, the number of the beast. In thy name are we assembled, O Jehovah. Give us strength and wisdom and love, that we may avoid the fatal numbers, and that we may glory thee in thy dominion. So here it's exposing again the lodges of the beast are in the 4 heads of the beast are in the 4 corners of the lodge. So it says they are always stationed in the 4 corners of the lodge. They are the 4 heads of the beast. They are always stationed in the 4 corners of the lodge. Now that's in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 11, verse 5 in the middle. And then coming back to the book of Esther, daughter of Jehovah, chapter 8, coming back to where we were starting at, with verse 15. Yet, O God, be not puffed up with hope of sudden success. I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the Cosmon era, but it is like a new birth brought forth with pain and with much labor. Verse 16. And thou hast yet several generations of mortals to be born before Cosmon come. The 4 dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee, to destroy thee of thy hand and of Jehovah. So who are the 4 dark corners? The number of the beast. What is the number of the beast? 666. 1, 11. These are the numbers of the beast that they use, right? So again, it states, the 4 dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand, O Jehovah. The 4 false gods will fight thee to the death. Only till they go down in hell can Jehovah's kingdom come. See that? It says the 4 false gods will fight thee to the death. Who are the 4 false gods? The false Brahma, the false Buddha, the false Christ, and the false Muhammadan. The 4 false gods will fight thee to the death. Only till they go down in hell can Jehovah's kingdom come. The 4 beasts. Now let's get who are these 4 beasts? Let's get a precept in Oahspe, in the actual book. It's actual book in the Oahspe called Oahspe. And we're gonna get it. Where it states right here. Now in the Oahspe, it states in the Oahspe chapter 1, it states verse 12, the names of the heads of the beasts were Brahma, Buddhist, Christian, and Mohammedanism. See, that's the name of the 4 heads of the beast. Brahma, Buddha, Christian, and Mohammedism. Coming back to the verse, what it stated? It states the four dark corners, meaning the four heads of the beast, meaning Buddha, Brahma, Christianity, and Islam of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the works of thy hand of Jehovah. So what they're saying, that these religious heads, they're going to try to destroy the works that we coming with. Because first off, it's exposing their doctrine. And second of all, it's telling them to break away from their deities and return back to the Creator. So these four heads of the beast, which are the four heads of the beast coming back to the Oahspe, and the names of the heads of the beast were Buddha, Brahma, Christian, and Mohammedan. And they divided the earth and apportioned it between themselves, choosing soldiers and standing armies for the maintenance of their earthly aggrandizement. So that's the heads of the beast right there. And then the verse stated what? The four dark corners of the lodge will be bound upon thee to destroy the work of thy hand of Jehovah's. The four false gods will fight thee to the death. Who are these four false gods that's going to fight Jehovah's children to the death? Brahma, Buddhist, Christian, and Mohammedism. Look how we're bringing out the Oahspe against Christianity and the Hebrew Israelites, and look how they mad. But we ain't bringing out nothing but truth. But they're not accepting it because they bound to the beast. Huh? It says the four false gods and their followers will fight thee to the death, only till they go down in hell. They going down. Who's going down in hell? Brahma, Buddha, Christianity, and Islam. It says only till that happens, only till they go down in hell, can Jehovah's kingdom come. So these Masons that you're looking at are the four heads of the lodges. Because a lot of these Masons are wrapped up in religion. They are the Christians, and they got the same Masonic structures over there in the West. I mean in the East. So again it states the four heads of the beast will fight thee to the death, only till they go down in hell can Jehovah's kingdom come. So once Christianity fall, once Islam fall, once Brahmanism fall and Buddhism fall, then can Jehovah's kingdom come on earth. See that? Verse 18. On all planetary worlds, it is ever the same. Certain four false gods rise up to possess the corporeal worlds and her heavens. Now, if you notice, it's stated in that verse. It says, on all planetary worlds, it is ever the same. See that? That's how these Ethereal angels could come to earth and know exactly what to do, because what is stated, on all planetary worlds, it is ever the same. Certain four false gods rise up to possess the corporeal worlds and her heavens. And then what did the other God reference earlier? He said, yo, God, be not puffed up with hope of sudden success. I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the Cosmon era. So right there it's telling you, I have seen many worlds arrive at the Cosmon era, but then another breath is telling you, on all planetary worlds is ever the same. So Oahspe showing you all throughout the cosmos, what we're going through ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. We will be shocked if we were to get picked up, taken to the next side of the galaxy, dropped, or not dropped, but look and observe to see that it's the same shit going on exactly where we at. We at the Cosmon era. It's another world in their Cosmon era, just like ours. That's what the Oahspe is saying right there when it states, I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the Cosmon era. And it says, on all planetary worlds, it is ever the same. Four certain false gods rise up to possess the corporeal worlds and their heavens. They will profess peace but practice falsehood. They will profess truth but practice falsehood. Profess peace but practice war. They will incite mortals and angels to all manner of evil for sake of thwarting Jehovah's person and proceeding. Yeah, they will even yet assume that they themselves are Jehovah, the veritable creator, and they will inspire mortals to consider them as such. See that? And that's exactly what happened. Because you do believe, Christians do believe that Jesus is God. Christians, Israelites do believe that Elohim is the creator. And the Brahmins and the Buddhists, you already know, they dealing with deities. And Islam got Jibril, who's assuming to be Allah. Jibril is assuming to be Allah. The proof of that. Let's get the proof that Jibril is assuming to be Allah. This what's going on with these goddamn false gods. They're going to prove Jibril is soon to be Allah. In the book of, what's that? The book of Esquire, chapter 49, verse 27, Jibril knew the power of rites and ceremony, and he provided unto his heavenly kingdoms accordingly, so that his people were kept in constant strain of excitement because of his wonderful inventions, so that millions and millions of them truly believed he was the veritable creator of heaven and earth, thus in the form of an angel. See that? Jibril is claiming to be Allah in the form of an angel, because he's claiming to be God. God in Hebrew is Allah, and in Islam, and in Arabic. So Allah, being Allah, is a title too. If Allah is a title, then somebody has to wear that title as Allah. If I'm a king, I have to wear that title as king. So who is the name, who is the deity playing Allah? Jibril, and it's stated right here. So that millions and millions of them truly believed he was the veritable creator of heaven and earth, thus in the form of an angel. And then when it comes back here, it's stated, what? Yet they will even assume that they themselves are Jehovah, the veritable creator, and they will inspire mortals to consider themselves as such. See, the Oahspe is totally exposed in the concept of your gods being a creator in the form of a goddamn angel. That's why all throughout the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, your Most High is an angel. It's angels talking to angels talking to angels. God judges in the congregation of the Almighty. God judges in the congregation of the gods. That's saying the chief angel judge in the congregation of other angels. But ain't none of them dealing with the Most High. See, the Oahspe is the exposer. It exposed all that. Yeah, so Fitz, I see you. Peace, fam. What's good? What it do, fam? You know what I mean? We putting in this pain. Putting in that pain. Cosmon Cal in the building. Peace to the God. What an excellent job you did, Cosmon Cal. And you know, we had that talk the night before. You know what I mean? We was chopping it up the night before. So I'm glad you used that Lincoln piece, you know what I mean? And then, you know, like you say, we gotta come back and do that presentation on that Lincoln joint. You know what I mean? Yeah, fam. If y'all ain't check it out, go check out Cosmon Cal TV. He did a presentation last night on woman's place in the kingdom. You know what I mean? And he went in. So if there's any cahoots or any disputes about women in the Oahspe, you can check out that video right there. You dig? Global purpose, peace. See you. Peace to the fam. Oneness, I see you. It's Creator Gang in the building. We turn up like always, y'all ready dread. Which one of y'all ready to give a presentation on the show, man? Who ready to step up? Jibril, you ready? Cosmon, Cosmon, you always gonna be ready. We working on one, you know, we gonna work on one. Who else? Kayla, I see you. Yare, I see you. Bronze, I see you. With Spiritual Light in the building. Spiritual Light, the warrior faith is, man. He be going hard. He ain't tolerating shit. Like, nigga, if it ain't right and exact, I ain't even playing the ropes with you. And I fucks with you because of that, yo. So yeah, we got some soldiers in the Creator Gang that's for the Creator, man. Non-resistant. We speak with authority on y'all ass. Like, nigga, what's good? Creator Gang. When Osiris pulled up, it was like Creator Gang. So that's showing you Gabriel tried to play like he was the creator in the form of an angel. So although Muslims will tell you that you can't see Allah, but then if Muslims agree and believe in all the prophets, especially in Torah, that means they got to believe the same God that the Israelites believe. That means that they got to believe in the same one God that Abraham believed. Now, Abraham was following the Creator, but guess what? They fucked up Abraham too. Let me show you. That's what I had to get right. Because just because you start off following the Creator don't mean you're going to remain following the Creator, right? So Abraham, the story of Abraham in the Bible is damn near false account, because in the Bible they got Abraham murdering and killing niggas. Oahspe say, none of my prophets were killers. None of them shed blood. So any story we got about a prophet from God and he shed blood, it wasn't from the Creator. As much as I know you want it to be. King David, he wasn't of the Creator. I know. It hurt. King David was of a deity. He was in service to a God, but it wasn't true God. Because true God would have told that nigga, no, we don't kill around here. When persecution comes, this is what you do. That's what true God do. This is what you do. You flee. Where I seen that at? I was in the damn, what book was I in? I was in the book of Capilia. And I pulled that up. I'm gonna come back to that. Where was I going? Oh, Moses, Abraham. Alright. So check it. So now, damn, I turn and went straight to it. So in the story, in the first book of God, right? The first book of God, chapter 11, right? It's stated, right? Now, when Abraham and his people came into Arabia, especially into that part now called Egypt, the matter was entered in the records of the different kingdoms with special reference to Abraham's professing to hear the voice of God, for he had not a flat head, and moreover, he had good judgment of his own, quite unlike the Egyptians in the temples. But because Abraham gave no counsel as to war or to earthly gain, he was not favored by any of the kings and suffered to go his way unmolested. Now check it. It stated that Abraham gave no counsel as to war. But in the Bible, it got Abraham go in the war to rescue Lot. So if Abraham went to war to rescue Lot, then he will have a counsel on how to give war tactics. But what did the verse say? But because Abraham gave no counsel to war or to earthly gain, he was not favored by any of the kings and suffered to go his way unmolested. Now let me twist this up, and I'm going to pull up that verse in the Bible. Where's that verse? Who got that verse in the Bible where Abraham was slaughtering niggas? Let me pull it up on Google. Let me see here. Let me see what verse that is. Hold up. You see the Mexicans over there jamming, you hear that? Alright, so that's Genesis chapter 14, verse 17. Alright, bet, hold on. Hold tight. Everybody hold tight. So that's Genesis chapter 14 when he rescues Lot. So in the rescue of Lot, he out there knocking heads. You know what I mean? So, let me show you what's going on here. You know what I mean? Finish rolling my thing, yeah? Let me finish rolling my thing. We're gonna let the music blast. Bring it up. It's a vibes. It's a vibes. Yes, family. Large up yourself. We're gonna tube in the intermission. Roll up your session intermission. You see that? Surgical with the spliff, yeah? Man, surgical with the spliff. Daniela. It's a vibes. Alright. Now let's get back to it, right? So what we was reading was All right, so check it right here. Let me pull up the verse. And it's supposed to be what verses? 14 through 17. Hold up, you talking about the chapters? I ain't about to read all that. Hold up, let me see. Okay. All right, so check it like right here. We're going to start at verse 18 right here. Hits a vibes. So this is Genesis chapter 14. I'm assuming verse 13. It says, a man who escaped came and reported this to Abram, the Hebrew. That's the first mention of Hebrew too, Abram. Now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre, the Amaranth, a brother. Mamre, the Amaranth, a brother of Eshcol and Enar, all of whom were allied with Abraham. When Abraham heard that his relative had been taken captive, he called out 318 trained men born in his household and went and pursued them. During the night, Abraham says what? During the night, Abraham divided men to attack them and root them, pursue them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. And he recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions. Skip down. After Abraham returned from defeating Kedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, the kingdom of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shiva. That is king of the valley. Hold up, what the hell? You got Melchizedek coming out of Sodom and shit? King of Sodom. But nah, alright. So Abraham, so right here, I'll give this the benefit of the doubt. Because it says, during the night, Abraham divided his men to attack. So attack what? They on a warpath? They shedding blood? What's really going on? And then it says, after Abraham returned from defeating. So we got you thinking that Abraham out here slaughtering niggas. Because if you attacking and defeating niggas, you got to be laying niggas down. But what did the Oahspe say? What did it say? You know what? Let me pull that up too real quick. Hold up. Let me pull that up on the screen. And I might not go back and forth with the screen thing, yeah? So let me see. Hold up. So we just read that verse about Abraham potentially being a killer. You know what I mean? Just quick to follow killers. So that's in chapter 11, in God's first book. Let's get it. Let me see where we at with it. Chapter 11, bam. What verse we at? Verse 24 I was at. Okay, this is where we at with it. Damn, this shit's small, but we don't make it work. So now, coming back. This is where we at in the Oahspe, right? From the Oahspe. Then we back over here. So it says, during the night, Abraham divided men to attack. And then, after Abraham returned from defeating the king, you know what I mean? So it's showing you Abraham going to war. You know, we already said that the followers of the Creator don't go to war. So it states here. Now, when Abraham and his people came back, I just read that. Let me just get straight to the meat. Now, it says, verse 24. but because Abraham gave no counsel as to war to earthly gain. So if Abraham at this instance says, he ain't giving no counsel as to war, how can he validate him where it says, during the night, Abraham divided men to attack. To attack them and rooted them and pursue them. So during the night, Abraham divided his men to attack them, and he rooted them and pursued them. But then when we come here in the Oahspe, but because Abraham gave no counsel as to war or earthly gain, he was not favored by any of the kings, and was suffered to go his way unmolested. So in the Oahspe, it says Abraham gave no favor. It says what? But because Abraham gave no counsel as to war and to earthly gain, right there. But because Abraham gave no counsel as to war or to earthly gain. And in the Bible, during the night, Abraham divided his men to attack them, and he rooted them and pursued them. In the Oahspe, but because Abraham gave no counsel as to war or to earthly gain. See that? So right here it's showing you that Abraham wasn't about warfare. So the whole story of Lot could have been a fable about him going to rescue his son, going to war, defeating kings. And then look what it states here, verse 25. When Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, the king's people blamed the heap. The king's people blamed the heap of it on Abraham. All right. When Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, the king's people heaped the blame of it on Abraham's head. And there rose up enemies against Abraham in those regions. So there rose up enemies against Abraham in those regions, saying that they put the blame on him for destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. They also accuse him of attempting to burn his son Isaac as a sacrifice to his God after the manner of the heathens of old. See, this is what the accusation of the peoples are saying. What you have in your Bible is the accusation of the people, of his enemies, not the word of Abraham in truth. And it states what? And they accused Abraham of being the father of Ishmael by his servant maiden, and driving Hagar and Ishmael away to Paran after he tired of her. See that? So what you have in your Bible is not the true account. It's the account of his enemies that wrote it during his day. So look what this verse states, verse 28. And these accusations and many more of like wickedness were heard of by the news gatherers and scribes, and they wrote them down, not knowing of a truth what they were doing before God. And so their records were entered into the libraries of the kings of Arabia, especially of Egypt. See that? Although we don't have a primary source for this, but it's stating right here that these accusations and many more alike of like wickedness were heard by the news bearers. They were heard by the what? The news gatherers, the scribes, and they wrote them down, not knowing of a truth what they were doing before God. See that? Didn't Jeremiah say the false pens of the scribes? Now you see how the false pens of the scribes work. They heard rumors, wrote down the rumors, not knowing that it's false, claiming it to be true. And these became the records. And it says what? They became into the libraries of the kings of Arabia, especially that part of Egypt. And then look what Abraham said. Now check this, right? Abraham perceived these matters and wept before God, saying, Alice, O God, would that I had great learning, I could write my record truthfully before men. See that? Abraham is saying like, yo, if I had great learning, he says, and could write my records truthfully before men, because they lying on him. So he's like, if I had great learning, I could write my own shit and tell the truth. But what did God say? God answered him saying, check this out. God answered him saying, thy faith being in Jehovah, it is well with thee. In thousands of years, one, Ezra shall send his scribes, into these countries to gather news, even as do the kings of this day. And his scribes, Ezra's scribes, shall translate these records. So Ezra is going to translate from the records which are of the lies, which are of the enemies of Abraham. Let me get back to what verse was that? 25. Which were the enemies of Abraham. It states with all their errors. It says all their errors and falsehoods. Errors and falsehoods. So what? Thy faith being in Jehovah, it is well with thee. In thousands of years, one Ezra shall send his scribes into these countries to gather news, even as do the kings of this day. And his scribes shall translate from these records with all their errors and falsehood. Ezra is translating errors and falsehood, which is the version you have in your Tanakh about Abraham. The errors and the falsehood coming back to right here. During the night, Abraham divided his men to attack and rooted them out. And then here, after Abraham returned from defeating the king, like they painting Abraham out like he a killer. Huh? So it said that they're going to translate with all their errors and falsehood, and Ezra shall publish the matter in history as the history of the deliverance. Meaning that's going to be the Tanakh they're referring to. Huh? And then look what he say. Look what Abraham say. Abraham, hearing this of God, bowed down his head and wept, saying, thy will be done. And God comforted him, saying, I am the light, I am the life. And then check this. It says, verse 32, God of heaven and earth will come afterward, and render the records of thy life, which are not dead, but of life everlasting. Since then thy people shall be honored by even that which shall come from their enemies. How much greater will be their glory when God of heaven speak for them, for thee and them. But look what it stated. It said, the God of heaven and earth will come afterward, after Ezra, and render the records of thy life. Now, where did this revelation come in at? In the Oahspe. The Oahspe is the one rendering up that Abraham wasn't a murderer. The Oahspe is rendering up that true God told him that concerning lands, you don't have to go to war for land. In the Bible, they'll tell you that Abraham went to war. I mean, not Abraham, that God promised the land of Canaan to Abraham's seed. But then when it came time for Abraham's seed to get the land, they was out there slaughtering the Canaanites to get the land. So now, let's see. Let me go to chapter 12. Chapter 12, verse 21. Right? Check this, verse 21. Now remember, if God told the Israelites to kill the Canaanites to get the land, and that was supposed to have been a promise from God promised Abraham the land, but by the time the Israelites came to get the land, God is telling them to kill the Canaanites for the land. That's not righteousness. You're stealing another people's land and killing them, slaying men, women, children, and infants, slaying infants to receive the land. Now you have blood spilt on supposedly holy land. But check this in the Oahspe. It says, Abraham asked concerning lands. Now, God said, consider thy God. Did I go to the king and to the rich man and say, give thou me thy sons and daughters? Nah, but I went to them that were despised by the rich and by the king. And I said, come ye, and they came. And when thou were come hither, did I say, take thou the king's land, or the rich man's? See that? But that's what you did in the Bible. You took the lands from the Canaanites. You took the land from the kings of Canaan, going in there to decimate the men, women, and children, utterly destroying them. But in here it says, did I say, take thou the king's land, or the rich man's? He says, nah, but I led thee to that which was neglected and wasted in the eye of the king and the king's people. And I said, this is thy inheritance. Where we at? 21, 22. Hold up. So now, in verse 23, it states, sufficient it is for thee and thy people to buy burying places for the dead, which shall not be disturbed, but of all other lands, neither buy nor sell. See that? So when Israelites went up into Israel, no buying, no selling, no killing, no taking. Stay what? And after thy people have improved a land, a place, and the king come up against thee, saying, either by purchase or by battle, I will have this land. Thou shalt say, all right, so check it. Let me start from there. It says, now after thy people have improved a place, and the king come up against thee. Now that's equivalent to the Canaanites already being in the land of Canaan, already improved the place, and the king coming up against thee. The king coming up against thee is the equivalent of the Israelites coming up against these people to take their land. What did it say? That's the perspective I want you to see this, right? And after thy people have improved the place, and the king cometh against thee, saying, either by purchase or by battle. That's how the Israelites came upon the Canaanites, by battle. They ain't talking about purchasing the land. They talking about killing the land, killing the people off the land. So either by purchase or by battle, I will have this land. Thou shalt say, nah, neither by purchase nor by battle shall thou inherit that which is Jehovah's. See that? That's the response that they gave. So he's like, yo, you ain't got to kill us. We ain't got to go to battle. You can have this. This land belongs to the Creator. So go ahead and take it. We'll build up somewhere else. That was the response of the followers of the Creator. But those who serve the king is coming to do battle, like your God got you doing battle to take over the land of Canaan. And then it states, but if thou desires the land, then will I give it thee. Then will I give it thee without money and without battle. See that? Without battle. This is what the chosen are saying. We ain't got to go to war, but in the Bible, Israel is going to war for that land. And it shall come to pass upon my chosen that they shall be driven from place to place, whither I will lead thee. And they shall make the wastelands to blossom like gardens, and the deserts to yield up ample harvest, for they shall dig wells until the soil and prove unto the nations of the earth the glory of thy works. And they shall be cut down and driven away and scattered, but I will come and gather them together. Their places shall be inherited by adulterers and worshippers of strange gods, who will build mighty temples. But my people shall not build in stone, nor wood, nor iron, that shall endure. For they shall go forth place to place, proclaiming me and my works. But where they have been, let me get that right here, that's a PowerPoint. It states what? But where they have been, they shall be nothing left on earth to show their labor. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, the Israelites didn't exist. Because what? Because, but where they have been, there shall be nothing left on earth to show their labors. But when I have taken them across all the earth, and they have scattered as the dust of the wind. When they have scattered the dust of the wind, no man can say, here is a nation of the children of Abraham. Lo, I will raise up my voice for them, even I, the God of heaven and earth. True God, that is. And in that day, the adulterers and worship of strange gods will be on the wane. Their temples of stone and mortar will still be standing. See that? See that? But a voice shall go up from the whole earth, even from the far-off nations of the earth, saying, what of them who laid the foundation of the temple of the one God, even Jehovah? Who were the sons of daughters of Abraham? Oh, that my eyes could have behold the faiths of that. See that? So right there, that's showing you that God never instructed Abraham concerning about taking over land by warfare at all. He said, you build up a place, if a king come in, you give him the land and you keep him moving. Ain't nothing about killing off no Canaanites for the land. But guess what? That's what you've been taught. That's what you've been taught in the Bible. That the Israelites got to kill off the Canaanites to receive the land from the Canaanites, because they're a cursed people. See that? See the fuckery? Yes, family. Fuck, we are going with the Bible with them type of things there. Dehumanizing people them there. You dig? It's a vibes. Let me find that verse in Capilia where it talked about the dealings of the flight of fear and warfare. Yeah. It's a vibes. It's a vibes, yeah. Vibes. Yes, family. Let's vibe for a second. Let me get something to drink. We're going to continue on with the lesson, because it's a vibes. 36 in the chat, 31 likes, 156 views. Let's get it. Yes, family. It's a vibes. I see you on the dance floor, Jibril, Takifa. I see you. Two stepping on the dance floor. I see the family, Elijah getting it in. Jibril got a dancing partner. I see you. Two stepping. stepping on the dance floor doing a John Travolta. I see you. It's a vibes. Hey, yo, Cosmon, post the link to your debate. The lecture you did last night on the goddess. Put that in the link so people who on my channel didn't see it, they can go check it out. Put the link in the chat. Because it's a vibes. It's a vibes. Let's get it, family. I got one for you right here. It's a vibes. So check it, right? Bend up my thing, yeah? And that broke my goddamn spliff. Whoa, can't have that. Alright, so check it, right? This is in the Book of the Ark of Bond. Book of the Ark of Bond, chapter 9. We're going to start. This is the story of Kapilia of India. I'm going to start from verse 27. It's kind of like a Q&A, question answer type of thing. So verse 27 states, "What is the worship of Jehovah's chosen? And wherein different it from the heathens?" So that's the question. What's the difference between the worshipers of Jehovah from the heathen? Verse 28. "Jehovah's chosen stand equal before the Father, and everyone shall work out his own resurrection, both in this world and the next. Hence, they are direct worshipers, being taught to worship Jehovah with their own prayers and songs." Those are the ways of Jehovians. Now, the heathen have priests to do worship for the people, who contribute to them in money for the service. The heathen priests worship the spirits of the dead, who call themselves Lord and God and Savior. See that? The chosen children war not, resent not by violence, but answer evil by good, and practice charity and love. The heathen, worshippers of God and of Lord and of Dias and of all other idols, practice war, maintain armies of soldiers, who are taught the art of killing with great havoc. They build monuments to men and otherwise blaspheme against Jehovah. They teach that Jehovah is void, but that he made himself into Dias, a large man, and then created all things, after which he retired to his throne, leaving certain laws to govern his works. So right there with that is showing you the difference between the belief systems of those who believe the Creator and how they think, in comparison to those who believe in the heathen gods, the religious gods, and how they think. They practice war and destruction and great havoc, while those who serve the Creator are the real peacemakers. They resent not. What did it say about the real peacemakers? It stated what? It says, what did it say about the Jehovians? It says, "The chosen children war not, resent not by violence, but answer evil by good, and practice charity and love." That's the ways of the chosen. It says what? but answer evil with good. You can't answer evil with good if you go into war. But that's the ways of the Creator. That's specifically letting you know that the ways of the Creator is total non-resistance. But it says the heathens, the worshippers of God and Lord and deists, and all other idols practice war, maintain armies of soldiers who are taught the art of killing with great havoc. They build monuments to men and otherwise blaspheme against Jehovah. They teach that Jehovah is void, but that he made himself into dais, a large man, and then created all things, after which he retired to his throne, leaving certain laws to govern his works. And that's what y'all believe today. Not y'all, but most Christians and Bible believe that today, that the Yahweh, Elohim, is a man, large man, or an angel, a man, sitting on his throne. He created all things, and now he's sitting on his throne chilling. Most Christians and Israelites believe that. Now here's the catcher. He says, what is the Zarathustrian life? No, let me skip down. Hold up. This is what I wanted to get to. But you know what? No, I can come down to that. What is the Zarathustrian life? What is the Zarathustrian law of life? What is the Zarathustrian law of life? Now, Zarathustra came before Abraham. So this is Capelia, because Capelia, a lot of these prophets reestablished the Zarathustrian law, even Abraham. So, what is the Zarathustrian law of life? Verse 30. To eat no flesh of anything Jehovah created with the breath of life, to bathe once daily, or once every day, to rise with the morning sun, and be temperate in all things. What is the Zarathustrian fatherhood and motherhood? Verse 32. To have but one wife, to have but one husband, to maintain sacred the maternal period. Verse 33. What is the so right here the Zarathustrian law talks about one wife, one husband, while Yeshua in the Oahspe says the same thing, one wife, one husband. Verse 33. What was the Zarathustrian compensation? Verse 34. All things belong to Jehovah. Man is but his servant. The fruits of the earth and of all labor shall be cast into the rabbi's house, and by him delivered unto the needy. Why were the Zarathustrians persecuted and destroyed? That's the question. That's what I was getting at. Why were the Zarathustrians, basically the faithists, why were the faithists persecuted and destroyed? That's the question. So here's the answer. Verse 36. Because they resist not by violence, and because they worship not the idols of the heathens. So that's why, because they resisted not by violence. So if we're not violent people, we're not confrontational people, we're easily able to be persecuted, because we're not going to rise up and fight you. We're not going to grab no guns and shoot you. So we're going to either stay out the way so we could avoid you so that don't happen, or if we get captured, then, you know what I mean, they persecute us. So it says, because they resist not by violence, and because they worship not the idols of the heathens. Verse 37. Had they no way of saving themselves? So that's the question. You hear that all the time. So what you're trying to say, Selah, I can't defend myself? So what I'm supposed to do? Even if somebody breaking your house, you can't defend yourself? You hear those questions, right? So that's the same thing he stated. So had they no way of saving themselves? Verse 38. Here's the answer. To that end, Jehovah gave them certain signs and passwords whereby they may know one another, and in time of distress assist one another to flee away. Key point, flee away. It didn't say go to war. Flee. Verse 39. Why did not Jehovah preserve his chosen people? So that's another question. If they're getting persecuted, why, did you preserve them? These are just questions, and it's showing you how righteously they're being answered. It's not showing you that these answers are telling you to engage in warfare because you're being persecuted. It's telling you about certain tokens you can recognize other faiths, and when the times of persecution come, you flee. So again, it stated, verse 38. It says, verse 37. Had they no way of saving themselves? To that end, Jehovah gave them certain signs and passwords, whereby they might know one another, and in time of distress assist one another to flee away. See that? The key there is fleeing away. Verse 39. Why did not Jehovah preserve his chosen people? Verse 40. By the laws of the circumcision of the faithers could only marry amongst themselves, in order to preserve a knowledge of Jehovah's amongst people. Hold up. To provide a knowledge of Jehovah amongst mortals. They who were holy were preserved. They who went after earthly things and after adulterers were cut off. But even in this day, Jehovah profits the seed of the faithers by raising up heirs of Suez amongst the heathen. So right there, that's just a quick demonstration showing you that Capilius said, teach ye these things to your children from their youth up, and enjoin it upon them to teach them to their children. So it's showing you, that was just showing you the distinction between the difference between following the doctrine of the heathen in comparison following the doctrine of the Creator. If you notice, the ways of the Creator was non-resistant, non-violent, not going to war. But the ways of the heathen, those who worship the gods and the lords, they went to war. They glorified in their mortal king. You see what I'm saying? So the Oahspe differentiate, so you won't be goddamn steered wrong like your Bible where it talks about God telling Israelites to prepare to go to war in Numbers chapter 1-3. Prepare Judah to go to war. Get the men of 20 years and get them all from the tribes, and we go into war with the Canaanites. Some young niggas, 20-year-old men. Them niggas ain't fully developed in their mind to go to war like that. Compared to going against some niggas in Canaan that's 30, 40 grown-ass men. Them niggas over there getting decimated probably. So the Oahspe is totally against violence. Non-resistance is the ways of the Creator, showing you time and time again that that's what it is. See that we don't follow a God of warfare and destruction in the Oahspe. It exposed that. It exposed the God of destruction. It stated what? Where that? It says the chosen children war not. See that? The chosen children war not. But then it says the heathen, the practices of God, the worshippers of God and Lord and deists, and all other idols practice war, maintain armies of soldiers, who are taught the art of killing with great havoc. That's what Israel was doing. They was committing the killing of great havoc in 1 Samuel 15:3, when they was taught to utterly destroy Amalek, man, woman, and children, and infant. But here it says the chosen war not in the Oahspe. So who are these people in the Bible claiming to be the chosen people, slaughtering men, women, and children, and infant? While in the Oahspe, the chosen war not. See that? So that's what you got to consider, yo. Who are you following? Just keep in mind, this guy gonna have your soul. This guy gonna have your soul after you die. Creator said, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not war. He didn't say you couldn't punch somebody in the motherfucking eye, though. Exactly. You'll still get a goddamn ass whooping. You think Osiris wasn't roughing niggas up and shit? even one of the false gods, I'm thinking in Osiris, he pushed one of the Ethereal females to the side, like, move, like, get out the way. And she just like, all right, nigga, I'm gonna let you rock, get your little points off, because if I put it to you, nigga, it's over. So yeah, don't think nigga just running around like if they get caught and persecuted, like nigga just, you know what I mean? That's where the martial arts coming at. That's where martial arts coming at. If we gonna be worshippers of the Creator and non-resistance, at least we can know how to defend ourselves with martial arts. Because in martial arts, when they train you with martial arts, you know what I mean? They train you not to fight even. Like, don't engage in a fight. That's what they train you. But once you learn that art, you could dismember a man. You could disassemble a man. You could disassemble a man. Beat him down. Don't kill him, but disfigure his ass so he can't get up and run behind you and keep him moving. Yeah. Facts. I told a nigga that. I said, the Bible ain't never say you couldn't fuck a nigga up. That's coming back to the lower self, the beast self, the animalistic side of man. That's that part. And as long as you're in this corporeal body, you're always going to be faced with that part. That part meaning the lower self, meaning the challenges you're going to face in these streets. Discipline, self-defense. That's right, Fraser. That's why it's good to study I study the martial arts, man. Me and my son be training and all that. There's some sharp cats out here. I don't know if you know about. Let me see. Let me pull up. What's his name on Facebook? Soul Falcon Joseph. He do martial arts, yo. That's what cats got to get into, the martial arts, yo. That shit's sweet, man. Don't sleep. There's some niggas out here that'll put your ass to sleep. Run to your ass. I used to train with some of these dudes, straight killers. Let me see here.
It's clear.
What the fuck going on? This dude right here I'm showing y'all, he live here in Georgia. He out here with me. I'm trying to get my son to go train with him. Look at this.
I'm going to make this clear. I'm brother
Mustafa Beer.
I got the intellect of man.
You ain't got to kill him, man. You just do a couple of those moves, knock his ass down, and keep him moving.
Train real hard. I'm on my PTW. Yes, I pray.
That's Mutaka Beer. For those who know martial arts, Shalom Academy, that's Mutaka Beer. Them dudes are straight killers with their hands. They don't need a gun to kill you. They can kill you with their bare hands. I see these dudes work loud.
Then I think about Swamp and what I have done. I tried to clean up the community and show some love. I'm about building up my character and strengthen my mind, and I will never stop training to the day that I die. I'm a calm warrior. I will always strive to develop our babies' powerful minds. Each one teach one. This is my cry. I'm a righteous soldier fighting against these lies, and I made up my mind until the day that I die. The only fear that I have is the fear of God. I'ma sharpen up my mind and make my body hard.
Don't be one of them people to think that this shit don't work. I don't see non-believers go up there and get their ass handed to them just like you got handed on the ground. I don't see it. You go in there with doubt, they gonna show approval on your ass.
At least 10 hours a day, so I won't get hurt. I'm a soldier with a mission. This is my position to make things right in this world.
Work. When I was at the dojo, that's what they would say. When you start working them combinations, they be like, work.
I pray every day to keep my spirit high. I'm about building up my body.
Boy, know how to do some of that shit. Don't get it twisted.
I'm the leader of Swamp. I teach my students to be
just like that when we get to the time. Every time.
Fly and roll on the mat, slapped out, free Ukini, blacked out. They will tap out, please believe me, it's so real. Gotta be ready to die or kill. All we do is train and build. We won't chill.
The demonstration that you gotta get on your martial arts shit. You ain't gotta be out here killing niggas. You could goddamn bust a motherfucker ass with some martial arts and lay a nigga down. You dig? Word up. Which martial arts do I practice? Well, the dude who taught me, he taught me a bastardized style because he came out of prison and he said, yo, Selah, I'm showing you what works. That's what he told me. So he showed me the basic blocks and the counters to them blocks. Like somebody throw a punch, you divert, and then you come in, and then you go to the ground. Like you can go to the ground, you can go to the arm bars or wrist locks. You know what I mean? A nigga know how to defend himself. But styles, of course, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's what the nigga was playing with first. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, grappling. Then my man was showing me some Shotokan, Kempo. Kempo. The shit that Steven Seagal do, Aikido. A lot of niggas don't fuck with that Aikido, but when you apply the combination of Aikido with the other techniques, if a nigga throw a punch and you go from the Kempo to the Aikido then to the Jiu-Jitsu, you apply them shits, yeah, you be out here fucking niggas up. You dig? Does he teach carve? Yeah, matter of fact, he deadly with the knife. This dude is deadly with the knife, man. Mutaka Bear with that knife? Shoot. Let me see if I can pull up a picture with Mutaka Bear with that knife. And it's another dude named Hassan. Oh man, these dudes are straight killers, man. I seen these niggas perform. I'm like, yo, you would never wanna get in the ring with some of these cats. And there's other systems out there that's nice too, but some of these dudes, man, they straight nasty with it. What was that? Oh, I was like, what the rise? Hold up. Yeah, man, martial arts, that's a good discipline, man. All faith that should study martial arts, I believe that, because that's a good discipline. It teach you about the chi energy, teach you how to use your vortexian energy, direct the energy. Jiu-jitsu teach you how to use your opponent's energy against them. And for the sisters, matter of fact, this is his wife.
Shopify is an all-in-one store builder that helps turn your idea into a business. Shopify makes things simple.
Today on Modern
1971. I trained in a Taekwondo system. I have to make sure that could take seconds for me to pass out. And I use this to break the fall. Mm-hmm. To the knee, bring it down to your... See how my... All right, so you're choking me into the wall. If I do this gets tighter. Mm-hmm. Okay, if I do this, now I got you. Okay? Now, if you have hair, that's not a good thing. If you have a beard, that's not a good thing. If you have a groin, that's not a good thing. I'm sorry, I'm having fun. Technique. What I want to do is I want to see how we can use the wall as my friend and as your enemy.
So that same dude I just told you,
I might as well,
that's
right
his
here.
wife.
Right.
So you're going to choke me into the wall. See how my shoulders go up? To avoid the pressure against,
like that,
okay? Kick to the shin.
I
don't have a problem with balance. I don't have a problem with balance because you're having me lean against something that's supporting me. I can pick up my leg at this point. Kick to the shin. If I kick to the knee, bring it down to your patella tendons. I move this hand off, both hands off, okay? What I want to do is go straight to the areas, and I go right to the throat. From the throat, you seeing? I dig.
So see what I'm saying? It's the female faithless warriors doing their works. And she nice with it too, don't get it twisted. See that? Ram your ass into the goddamn wall. See that, sis? Look at that. See how you can break the dudes down? You get into another salty relationship, you just break them down like that. See what else they got. Let's skip up. So she's demonstrating like if she had a knife on her. See his wife nasty with the knife too. So they're using a knife right there. So she using the brush as if she was to have a knife, showing you what the fuck she'll do to your ass. See that? These the goddesses. The Naravinian goddesses. Yeah. What else we got to do but... What else we got but time? It don't hurt. Let's see what else. They're demonstrating with the knife. Let me get to it. See how she did that? The way she kicked that, she knows she know how to use the knife, she knows what she's doing. Motherfucker just ain't pick that knife up, acting like she don't know how to use the bitch. You see how the motherfucker did that neck? Get some demonstrations going. See that? Cut that belly, had that goddamn intestines fall out. showing and proving, yo. These people ain't playing, yo. They're dealing with. So yeah, family, that's the Mutakabe family. They nasty with the martial arts. They be training he be training the youth and all that. See, they go the knife, King. You was asking about the knife. This dude is nasty with the knife. See that? Gone. And this training is right here where I'm at. It's right in Atlanta. I spoke to him on the phone. I was supposed to be over there doing what they doing. He was like, "Yo, Selah, you could wrap razor blades in your lock. So if somebody try to grab your lock, they just cut their hand up." I was like, "Hey, we're a warrior." See that? See how he disarmed that? See, you cut that arm, slick. Man, cut that wrist, lock him in, cut that neck. See that? That's what's going on, man. But that's next level right there, of course. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you can learn the martial arts. You can learn the art, man. Ain't nothing wrong with learning the art. That's what it's about, self-defense. You know what I mean? If you in Atlanta, yo, you can get with him. He with it. He willing to teach, man. These elders, martial artists, they willing to teach because they're getting older. They need to have somebody to carry the torch. Look at the young boy. He young. You know what I mean? The young boy young. There's some young masters out there too. It's another dude named Hassan. He nasty with it too. Yeah, man. I'm with the martial arts shit. It's a vibes. Hold on, is that his son? Let me find that cat, man. It's another cat, man. He nice. He nice as shit. Let me see if I can pull up one of his videos. There you go. Boom. Let me show you this cat. This cat right here, nasty. I was in the goddamn dojo there. I was at a seminar with these dudes, man. These dudes will fuck your ass up. Not to say it like that, but when I seen these dudes start demonstrating, I was like, yeah, you better be careful what type of cat you want to decide to pick fight out here. Some cats knowing these stuff, man, they'll put you to sleep. Especially if you don't know what you're doing. You get out there throwing some punches and you don't know what you really doing and shit, yeah, niggas will put you to sleep. I seen some practitioners, man. I was like, damn, okay. Like, I'm glad I came to this. They come out of Moses Powell. Anybody know Moses Powell? They all descend from Moses Powell's son. But this dude right here, I'm about to show y'all real quick. Hassan, man, these dude is nasty with the martial arts. You know what I mean? He's just doing some training and shit, but just, I ain't got the audio with it. I'm just showing you the illustration. He's showing you I'm gonna strike right there. And these dudes is practitioners, man. If he say he gonna hit you right where he pointing at, oh, best to believe, he gonna hit you right where you pointing at. He gonna disarm that shit. I done seen that shit. Yeah, that punch he did right there. Don't take that lightly. I done had these cats experiment and feel what that shit feel like. Yeah, these niggas is nasty. But look at the blocks, the strikes, the counters. You know what I mean? These are the things you can learn to defend yourself in them streets. I mean, you knock somebody down and you can run off and get the hell out of there. See that? See, when you get to working, lay your ass out. These dudes is practitioners, man. Break that arm. See that? Arm broke. You can walk away now. He's telling you what he's breaking. I done seen this video a million times, so I'm just, see that? When you throw a punch, look, you counter it with that right there. Let it flow over. Now you on the outside. When you on the outside, you can work. See that? Break that elbow. Other vision. Other side, I mean. Bang. He got you locked in. Now watch this. Bang. Look at that. Look at that. Go to the neck. Back of the neck. Bang. You do that to somebody, it's over. You walking away. You ain't even got to run away at that point. Break the elbow and then snap the back of the neck. And that's just 2 moves. That ain't including no follow-ups. See that? That's gonna send a shock right down through that way, right there. The nerves gonna send a shock wave. And look at that. And flip your ass over. See, that's what we got going on, yo. That's what the righteous gods and goddesses got to be on. Martial arts is beautiful self-discipline. That's excruciating pain right there. Don't fall. I've been in that position right there. Them fingers bent back like that, nigga, them shits hurt. Don't get it twisted. Them fingers bent like that, excruciating pain. But these dudes is nasty, man. These dudes is masters, man. Master martial artists. These are dudes you want to look at, learn from, and get a couple techniques, practices with somebody. A matter of fact, Jibril, this dude is in Brooklyn. Hassan is in Brooklyn, Jibril. He in Brooklyn. See that? He's got you held by the fingers and still whooping your ass. Picking you up and dropping your ass. See that? When you learn these things from practicing and you get into an altercation and apply it quick, and keep in mind, he's demonstrating these things slowly so you can see it. When these things really happen, it's going fast. These things move fast. See, niggas ain't playing no games, yo. These real martial artists, man. These dudes will kill you with your bare hand. These are straight killers in the martial art field. Dudes ain't playing no games. Yeah, Shibu, you need to get up with him. You learn under him, you gonna be cold-blooded. That's right, global purpose, you know what I mean? Always in the defense, yo. Because you got videos out there where people know martial arts, they'll restrain them until the cops come and all that. But we ain't restraining nobody till the cops come. We knocking niggas out and we out of there if it comes to that. Because the Oahspe say you got to face evil on your own account. That's the only way you could attain to the Godhead. So we got to experience these things and know how to navigate and deal with the situation when it happens. Everything ain't going to be cookies and cream. You know what I'm saying? The Oahspe shows you that. The gods go through trials. The righteous God goes through trials. The righteous trials of the gods. The righteous trials of the gods. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Yo, y'all crazy. Sifu. Yahweh training my daughter Kempo and Aikido. Yes, fire. Yes. Aikido. Kempo, yes. I was training with Steve Muhammad, but I wasn't training with him. He was buying tea for me. Steve Muhammad. He trained with Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? He stayed out here. I was going to his dojo, checking them out, checking out their students. And Kempo cold-blooded, yo. Them counters and them follow-ups, yeah. Cause it's a vibes. So being that we non-resistant, being that it states that, you know what I mean, the chosen war not, resent not by violence, but answer evil by good, and practice charity and love. Now we can do all that. We can return, because if an evil person come to you and you back him down with the martial arts and restrain him and hold him and be like, yo, bro, I ain't trying to mess you up. I'm gonna let you go, but I'm gonna go my way, you go your way. But if you keep, I'm gonna knock you out unconscious. You can talk to him, you can rationalize with him. A lot of times, you roughing somebody up and restrain them and control them, they fall in line quick. All right, man. All right, you got it. And they go their goddamn way. You know what I mean? That's only if you're dealing with situations like that. But of course, it's to avoid all encounters of situations that could lead to other shit. Who wants to see my 5 deadly venoms first? Fist of Fury. You know what I mean? Get on your Wu-Tang. But yeah, the self-defense. And that's another thing. I'm like, yo, I know some of these prophets have to teach martial arts, yo. Especially in China. I know China and them prophets have to be on some type of martial arts. Especially when they built the Great Wall of China, which was to keep away the barbarians. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing of what style was that? Wing Chun. Wing Chun is a woman. Wing Chun, that style comes from a female. See that? The martial art known as Wing Chun, let me pull that up. That shit comes from a female. It was a fighting style for small people. Like the Irons. Yup. Wing Chun was created by a woman. Dominated by man. Yeah, yo. Wing Chun. That style was created by a female, in case you didn't know. This is demonstrations of Wing Chun. This is demonstrations of the female style utilized by man mainly. See, Master Wing Chun demonstration technique. That's Wing Chun right there. You know what I mean? Get on your martial arts, family. Get on your martial arts, yo. There's things you can learn with these techniques. Solo. Like the katas. They call them katas. Where you can learn these things. You dig? That's what's going on, fam. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Jehovah said the best man is he who can do all things. I'm like, all right. Female fighting style. See, you heard that Jibril for little people. Yeah, Jibril. Wing Chun, yeah, that'll be for you all day right there. That's fighting style. That's for little people. For real, yo. That's how we moving, yo. Cause it's a vibes. Yo, I'm about to sign out, family. It was a great vibing with the fam. Cosmon Cal, what you gonna come on live next? What's good? Keep the cipher brewing. Let's raise the music and vibe out, family. You know how we do. Let's do it. It's a vibes. Let's vibe it out. You know how we do. It's a vibes. So we y'all little, well, that'll be good for all y'all little people. Learn it, master it, cause it survives. You know how we do, peace, love, and light to the fam. Create a gang. It survives. Peace, love, and light, family. And we out. We out, family. It survives. It's a vibes. Selah, Shalom still in the building in the background. I see you in the chat vibing out. Two-stepping on the dance floor. You know it'll be hard to leave, fam. Cause it's a vibes. Say may come back on later when the night falls. It'll be another vibe.